Please continue. What is up, everybody? I would love for that to be live. Just like that's how I want to start off. Welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry we are late. As you can tell, we were trying to fix some visual issues that we had since we're changing some layouts. Of course, technical problems, as always. Gotta love it. Yeah. Problem resolved. We're back to where we started. Welcome to Rumors of the Dead, everyone. Our little Vampire the Masquerade game that we run here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. till 12 p.m. Sorry, yeah, 8 p.m. till 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 p.m. to midnight, or 8 p.m. till midnight. It is an interactive Vampire the Masquerade stream. We encourage you guys to participate by heading over to the Ko-Fi shop and adding cool rumors and evidence. If you need any more details on that, there's more evidence at the Ko-Fi shop. More evidence, more information. There's evidence there too, but it's a very cool way for you guys to help control the narrative of the story and help direct the story in the way that you guys want to, with a cool voting process that also supports the stream. Please go check it out. It's always handy. But otherwise, we run a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition game. It is a homebrewed game based in the city of Los Angeles. We are slowly building our world as we're growing out from the West LA section that we've started our game in, and slowly adding in canon characters as well as other, elements that we are creating ourselves as we go along. We have a cool cast of characters, and it's been a very fun game. I will go ahead and throw out there that I'm sure, as you guys can notice, we are down a player. Unfortunately, Clark's schedule is no longer able to help us with the stream, or not. He was not able to help us make the stream, is what I'm trying to say. So, unfortunately, he has had to step out. It's unfortunate, but it does mean that we are opening up slots to potential new players. So, if you have any interest, let me know. I am really looking to try and bring in some other, people in the vampire industry that would like to maybe join a game. So, yeah, message me about it. We'll be doing some kind of open interviews not too far down the road from now. But that's to be dealt with. Let's get into our game. So first off, my name is Kevin. I go by It's So Sublime. I'll be your storyteller for this evening. The channel here, Tabletop Down. We do a lot of tabletop content from the top down, hence the very clever name. But we try to do D&D, we do some vampire, we do some tabletop board gaming, and occasional one-shots of a variety of different RPGs. So I really hope that if you guys like RPGs and role-playing games and other board games, tabletop games, that you will stick around, give us a follow, and hopefully enjoy the content that we get to play with you. I always try to make everything very interactive. I love to play with the stream. Another big thing that I'm going to be working on over the next week or two is I'm working on a new stream I think you guys will be excited for, but also my personal kind of new direction is that I really want to spend more time with you guys in the community directly, not just here on a camera, talking at you, but rather in the Discord, in the community, talking with you. So I'd really love you guys to make sure that if you haven't already, I'm going to go ahead and post a link in here in our Discord now. Exclamation. There is our Discord link. Please join our Discord. We've got a lot of voice channels. I'm going to spend a lot more of my time, kind of hanging out in there if I'm playing a light video game during the day. This way, you could still watch if you want to, but the main thing is I'm able to talk with you. I'm able to, kind of make it more of a community effort, and I really want to build on the fact that we've all been friends for, some of us for years now as this stream has been taking place, and I really want to focus on that more than anything. So we're gonna start doing that more. So come in the Discord, make sure to hang out with me. Okay. I think that's all. Let's go ahead and do this. I think last week it was a really kind of cool idea to let you guys collaboratively tell me what happened the hell last week. Because one, it's I just get long and drawn out with it. Let's let you guys piece it together. Anybody remember what the hell happened last week?
Well, first started off with us in the middle of the street. Still after our good old little fight. Good old
murder.
Yeah, good old murder. Good old Numar just eating somebody. So we disposed the
We'll
bodies.
get back to that.
Yeah, we disposed the bodies. Dragged the one that was still alive into the van, as well as Numar. Brought him back to the hotel, where we then decided to turn the one that was torpored into a coffee table, so it wouldn't look weird on the cameras. Then getting him into the apartment, we staked him, figured out what was inside the little book, as our good old friend Numar was battling his inner demons on the couch.
Specifically inside the box that we retrieved, we found him.
Yes. inside the box that we got. Inside the box, we found a bottle of wine and a good old book that did a nice little slideshow for us on the walls and busted out all my lights.
Magic.
Magic. Uh, it was about the Carthage, if I'm not mistaken, and we didn't know too much about it. We decided to go talk to the Baron about the book and see what we could do, and ended up telling her just about everything about it. And now we're about to have a conversation with the person that sent us, being Damien Steele, the Baron, and the one that we staked that we're about to drag back into the Baron's quarters.
She wants us to talk like a doll.
Yep.
Uh,
That is pretty much the short of it, man. I like it. I think it's a lot easier to make you guys just do the recap for me. I can't ever remember all of it. I got chronic Dory disease. You know what I mean? Just like goldfish personality here. But yeah, it's a cool recap. So as far as our characters went, they had to, track down an item or a package they were supposed to retrieve. It got stolen. They stole it back. They took a peek. It turned out to be magic. Now they're suspicious of the asshole that asked them to pick it up. So they went to the Baron and told mommy. Uh, they brought mom in. They're like, no, no. Look what your brother did. So it's a cool way of doing it. Let's go ahead and get through our character intros then, so everybody can know who you are if they are a first timer here. Jive Man, would you like to tell us who you are playing?
Why, thank you. Yes, hello everybody. I am Jive. I go by he, him pronouns, and I'm going to be playing our kind of quirky character tonight, our salubri named Snowcone, who's our resident doctor, pharmacist, and overall weirdo. So enjoy getting to get to know them.
Yeah. I can't agree with that statement anymore. I love that Snowcone's kind of taking a personality tonight too. He's like, I'm fucking in it. I saw a total tonal shift there. I'm into it. All right, man. Then Mr. Paul or Goonie Bones, as I guess I should probably be titling you since that's
Either
what you use
or.
in disc or in the chat.
I
But
prefer
yeah.
Paul between us than here, but yes, Goonie Bones in the chat. I play Bart, our resident fixer, and mechanic. Now kind of slightly turning an occultist.
Yeah, that does seem to be
Fun.
the direction, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, you turn a couple of nuts, you turn a couple of bolts, you light a couple of candles, and then you sacrifice a goat. This is how you fix cars, guys. Everybody knows. Nice. Mr. Numerousness or Numar Esnice, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, I'm Numerousness playing Numar. Oh gosh, yeah. Came from Texas, now in LA, and a La Sombra vampire who has a bit of heartburn now from like a bad meal he had last session.
You gotta watch out with those Spanish foods, man. They'll get you every time. Mr. Rodriguez, I think was the last name on that character. Yeah, it might be the problem. It's a little spicy. That's it.
Oh yeah.
It's got that sriracha. All right. Well, in that case, Jackal. What about yourself, sir?
Howdy, I am Jackal. I'm playing Marina, our resident Toreador, who is still learning basically everything at this point, and just trying to figure out what to do or say on the way.
I don't even know more if it's like a resident or just a house guest that decided not to leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Well, more accurately, she's the one in our group that has cash money, so it's like
Very much.
you guys are
she'll
kind of
be
the house
welcome
guest.
even if she was like a toxic person and shit.
She had the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like she's nice.
Which I
Wait.
have to keep repairing because of the shit that's going on.
It's like, wait, you
More
drive
damaged
what?
at once.
You live where?
If anything, it's
broken
gonna probably smell like weed.
Well, that's
Yeah,
probably a
listen.
definite possibility.
broken coffee table, now hole in the wall, and whatchamacallit, broken lights.
Were the broken lights our fault though?
Not really.
More magic. You can blame sci-fi magic and your DM on that one. But yeah, so like last week, as we left off, I believe everyone had more or less returned to your apartment, where they were kind of discussing, what you had uncovered at the Barrens, that she had confused and a little alarmed by the scenario that you had described to her. She said, please bring this item. Please bring the torpid kindred that you have, as well as the rest of your coterie, and meet tomorrow at my club. We will have a private meeting with Mr. Damian Steele to try and get to the bottom of this, to get a better understanding of what's going on, right? This way, it just we'll get everybody in the room. She did agree to help take some of the blame, throwing out the after you threw out the suggestion, to ask her to more or less say that she, had brought you in, not that you had willingly come to her, but that she kind of caught you in the middle of this process and asked, to interrupt the process itself. This way, maybe you could save a little bit of face with Damian Steele. That seems like a good option. So yeah, that's where we're picking up last week. But as you guys remember, so I do believe that we had mentioned starting off more or less the next night. Did you guys have anything to do like the previous night before we move on to the night of
Yeah, because I
the meeting?
Gobblery.
Yeah,
Are we taking
that's what
care of
I'm
that
gonna get.
first?
Definitely gonna
Yeah.
get to that. But I was just meaning like anybody else, because I have to deal with that still.
From what I remember, it was actually we'd actually go to the next night. We were getting in the bed to sleep. I think Bart was still in his area,
The only thing is,
and
As
I
I
admit
recall,
I
like we
had
ended the note of
mentioned.
where.
Yeah, I had mentioned Jamal walking out the door and leaving a
Yep.
fist-sized hole when you woke up. That's why I know that we had
Yeah.
kind of stepped
Oh
into the
yeah,
next morning, but only barely. So if you had anything you
Yeah.
wanted to wrap up the night before.
yeah. That's right.
Um,
That's right.
so, Numar, we have to start with you. A little bit of housekeeping here because you ate somebody. And that comes with rolls. Very complicated rolls. But honestly, like, as simple as Vampire is, they're probably the most complicated, even though they are also very simple. But for some reason, it took me 3 weeks to learn them. So, first and foremost, the rules state, once a diablerie is complete, the diablerist must assert control over the alien blood in their system or risk falling prey to the victim's spirit. This process involves resolves as follows. First, the diablerist loses 1 point of humanity. So I believe you were
Oh,
at humanity 7, correct?
Yeah.
Still at your starting humanity. So you immediately fall to 6 humanity. If you need help changing that on your sheet, I think you gotta like click the little setting icon there, and then it should let you change it. You put in a numeric value, and it's weird with the sheets that we use on Roll20.
It
Excuse
goes
me.
down, right? Got it.
Correct. Yes, it would go down to 6. So that's
I mean,
where
there's
we start.
consequences to eating vampires.
As it turns out, there is the Diabler. There is consequences to sucking the soul out of another individual, vampire
Hey,
or not.
no.
Now you tell me.
Right. Then the kindred or the Diablerist must roll a contest of their new humanity plus their blood potency. So you're going to have a humanity of 6. Your blood potency is 1 versus the other kindred's resolve plus their blood potency, which I can tell you their blood potency was 2. It's a little bit thicker as far as that goes. And I need to check their resolve score. It was a 3. So they're going to be rolling 5 dice. You're going to be rolling 7. So you have the statistic advantage here of outwinning. So we're going to make 3 rolls. Is the way that this works. Let me make sure that I got that right. They must then roll a contest of humanity plus their own blood potency versus the victim's blood potency. Okay, every success gives them experience points
I think it's just
to
one roll.
spend.
The multi-roll deal is like a strength thing, like you have to do first when it comes to like a person that isn't already torpid or deals.
You might be right there. I'm just missing that portion of it. To begin
All right,
committing.
we haven't
We've
had this one, I
we've already
think.
kind of gotten past that part, unfortunately,
Yeah.
because that's the actual
Except,
committing the act. We've just decided that it happened. Yeah, 'cause you're
we're going
right.
for the big
It
roll
would have
now.
been strength plus resolve and have 3 tests. That's right, equal to the victim's blood potency. The attacker can make it roll. Blah blah. Okay, so the Diabolist lose 1 point of humanity. They then must make a contest of humanity plus their blood potency versus the victim's resolve plus blood potency. Here's the part that catches me. It says every success gives the Diabolist 5 experience points to immediately spend on increasing their blood potency up to the victim's blood potency or disciplines known by the victim. Should the roll fail, the Diabolist loses an additional point of humanity for each success by which they failed. If the failure corrodes their humanity to 0, they become prey to the mind of the victim. If the victim was of a lower generation, the Diabolist lowers the generation, and black veins become visible. But yeah, it does say you make a roll, and then each success gives the Diabolist 5 experience points. That's the
Yep.
part that I don't understand.
It's just the
Yeah.
differences in successes. Numar wants to have more successes than the
Oh, correct. Each success
consumed
difference, not each successful roll. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. The keyword success. That's
Oh,
where
that
I was
could be a
missing.
lot.
Thank
I
you
get you.
so much. So yeah, I'll be rolling 5 dice. You'll be rolling 7. The more successes that you get, the better. And I don't think you get to use willpower on this, do you?
Up
It
to you.
doesn't say. I will allow it because
If
it
anything, I'd
just
say
doesn't
both
say.
parties could still use the willpower that they have in their system because it's
Yeah.
still the soul's will, you know.
I
Like,
used all my willpower during that fight because I didn't
Oh.
plan on having to fight after he died.
Oh.
So,
I got
if
That's
you
not a
have
problem.
willpower, that might give you a bit of a statistic advantage in this roll. But I am going to roll 5d10. I'll just go ahead and do that. Kind of
do it
behind
as
the
GM
scenes
roll to
here.
make it extra.
Yeah, I'm
scary
doing
for
that
us?
behind the scenes here. So as long as you don't look at
Behind
the
the
screen, you
scenes.
should not see anything too special.
Can I do I just do 7d10?
Yep.
You would roll roll 7d10 or like I don't know if there's actually a roll for it for you.
3,
Oh, yeah. I did
4.
Let's see. I am
4.
counting 4 successes. Do you want to spend any willpower? I unfortunately do not have any to spend. Do you want to spend willpower to try and re-roll 3 of those dice?
So I got 1 box of willpower. Does that leave me? Yeah, if I click it, it shows that I'm impaired.
That
But does
would
that
make
take
you
place
impaired,
before or
but
after?
so it would.
You're going to be impaired. So I mean, like,
I personally feel it makes sense thematically that you would end up impaired by the end of this. What
enough.
impaired means is that because it's a mental roll, you're going to suffer a 2 dice penalty to all mental checks until you can resolve the humanity issue. You're going to be sleeping, so that might help you in this situation to get a couple of those back. It'll probably be worth going ahead and just biting it for a day, and yeah, maybe your mental rolls aren't great. But yeah, it's up to you. I'll let you have the choice, but you can choose to impair yourself. Like, it's an option. You're allowed to drive yourself to the point where you're like, I have stressed myself so much that I'm completely mentally fucked. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you want to try and garner some extra successes there, feel free to do so. The chat is
Alright.
currently saying, do it.
Better to be fucked up as myself than
Um,
than normal as someone else.
you're definitely getting the
So,
Shia LaBeouf line in the
yeah.
chat. Lots of do-its. Somebody posted the meme, you know? But yeah, you just re-roll 3 dice.
3,
So
I
yeah,
do 1, 2.
yeah, you have 3 that you could do. Ooh, that is
Aw.
unfortunate. And also, if you lost this roll, that would be a bestial failure. You lose it in a terrible way. So,
Well,
the current
see,
score
it could be
stands.
5.
I believe you have 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, correct?
Yep.
Do you have any +1s left from the chat?
I
The chat had
Yeah,
sent in a
did.
couple at one point. I don't know if you have any furthers. I know a lot
I
of those
don't
got
think I
spent.
do.
Okay. The current roll then is 4 to 2. You've gained 10 points of experience points, and you do not lose your soul. You do not become victim to Rico Griffith of the bad side of town, West LA. That would have been great for me. I would have loved to watch you just like devour your humanity until you became a white with his soul.
Just have
But
to
you've
learn
succeeded.
a new name.
Yeah, if you want to, so go ahead and write down 10 experience points on your second page, and you can immediately spend these. So you can do that to increase your blood potency, which will take a couple of things up for you. Or you can spend those on disciplines known by the victim. I'm just going to give you a lot of above the table info. This is kind of the house cleaning part, so bear with us here for a sec, guys. Dude, there's a gnat in here. Not anymore. Dead. Uh, sorry. He currently possessed presence, celerity, and protean. So those would
I
be
thought
the
that Newmar got
It was the Tremere.
the Tremere. Yeah.
you
The
did
Tremere
take
lady.
the Tremere. That's a very good point. Let me check their
Yeah,
resolve.
I know
Yeah,
they got
different
the
person.
acid blood.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is it
resolve.
gonna be a different role? Shit.
No.
We were
Resolve
debating
would have
about
been the
whether or
same
not I was
roll.
going to eat the acid
Okay.
blood.
Yeah. So luckily same resolve, so I don't have to reroll. But it would be blood sorcery or obfuscate in that case. Would be the two that you have to choose from.
Do you have 1 dot in obfuscate?
I think I have one in obfuscate already.
If so, taking that 2 dots, nice and pick.
The
Good
fact
go.
that you have that skill already would also make it to where it's a little bit cheaper for you. Since
It's not in
since it's
clan.
in
Well,
clan, because he has
but
obfuscate.
it's not in clan for him. Just
Is it
isn't it
not?
one that was?
With
Yeah,
Pretty sure it's
Lasombra?
just one
Okay.
gotten off of his predator type.
What did?
Yeah, you might be entirely right. For some reason I was
Or-
thinking Lasombra.
Wait,
Well,
What am I thinking?
no, you don't have
Oblivion.
two.
since
You have Oblivion and Dominate. Never mind. Who am I
Since-
thinking then?
Okay.
Oblivion,
But since you-
Dominate, didn't have Obfuscate. So this could give
Would
you a
this-
free point in Obfuscate. Actually, it could
Uh-huh.
give you,
3 point in obfuscate, 3 point in blood sorcery. Call it a day.
Yeah.
or the other option is to raise your blood potency, which would be the new
Yeah.
level times 10. I don't know if you can, do you also have any experience points currently? Like any points that you haven't spent?
I haven't spent any yet, so
Because I mean, I would
got,
also
like,
allow
means you
you
have a
to
total
do
of
that
30.
at this time, as long as it goes towards either blood potency or one of those. You could also throw a couple of the experience you have stocked. I feel like that's only fair that you could add them in. But
You
yeah,
could
as
become
far
our-
as the 10 points, they have to go towards either gaining blood potency, or obfuscate or blood sorcery. Those 10 points specifically. Your points can go to whatever the hell they want. But if you want to add them in so that you could get like blood potency 2, the big win with blood potency 2 is it's going to give you like better re-rolls on your rouse checks. So when you make a level 1 rouse check, which is very seldom you would do that, you can always re-roll the rouse check. So if you are using a level 1 ability, you make a rouse check and you fail it, you have the option to re-roll that once because of your blood potency. That almost never comes up because most level 1s don't have a rouse check. Level 2s do. But if I'm not mistaken, so like level 2 blood potency might give you level 2 rerolls. I don't have the blood potency
So it
chart
also-
directly in front of me.
It comes with the consequence of having it harder to drink from like bagged blood from animals, from those sources.
That
So,
is true. The higher your blood potency goes, like it gives you some cool abilities, but also like you're becoming more vampiric, so it becomes a little harder to feed. The biggest thing that I see difference is whenever you would rouse your blood to mend damage, you would mend 2 points of damage instead of 1. Whenever you do a discipline power, you get to roll 1 additional die on all of your discipline power bonuses. Again, it's still level 1 rouse reroll or rouse check rerolls, so all your level 1 skills. Your Bane severity stays at 1, but animal blood and bagged blood would only slake half as much hunger as they previously did. So like animal blood and bagged blood starts to lose a little bit of its kick if you went blood potency. But yeah, I will essentially give you a little time to think about this, because like it says to use it immediately, but like I know also rules and stuff, so if you need a minute to think about it. But that's just a couple of options. Blood potency, or then you could buy into like you know, getting yourself some blood sorcery or obfuscate, whichever you like there.
I think blood sorcery, like we actually saw some of that, so that might make more.
You definitely saw some blood potency from her, or
fun
blood sorcery from her.
sense.
Very true. Yeah,
That's
she
kinda
was
where
casting some spells.
That'd be nice to have a blood sorcerer.
A single dot isn't doing much, and he doesn't get a ritual with it. He'll just get the
True.
single dot power. So
Kind of goes both ways, yeah.
blood.
like this will be neat,
I think
but you also
would be the same
the
way.
plus side is if you don't show off the fact of having the blood sorcerer, you're much less likely to get hunted by the Tremere. So
Yeah.
good to avoid that one.
Yeah,
They're
Tremere,
like a little
Tremere
bit.
really get mad when you steal their magic. I don't know why. I mean, they're kind of the usurper clan, you know? Like, they did it, but it's not okay when you do it. Just saying. Yeah, fuck you, Tremere. I said it.
Fair.
You know what I mean? I said it. The other option
Also,
would
being in the Anarch
be...
Free States, like, probably are a bit chiller about it.
Yeah,
Just really
yeah.
having people with blood source.
Yeah, there's definitely no, there's no pyramid here. No chantry. So, as far as obfuscate, it looks like Cloak of Shadows and Silence of Death. You can either be totally silent, or if you stand still, you can go invisible. That's an option. Let's see. What do you got under blood sorcery? You got Corrosive Vitae or a Taste for Blood. Taste for Blood allows you to taste blood and determine its resonance, I believe. Whereas Corrosive Vitae allows you to, you know, turn your blood a little acidic, and you can do something similar to what she had done to you and thrown acid in your, you know, on you just by spraying blood in your direction. Food for thought. Either way, I need you to go ahead and make me a rouse, or you know what? You don't have to make a rouse check. You really don't. I do want you to go ahead and roll a single die for me, though. Go ahead and make it a blood die and just roll it like it was a rouse check. But you're full. You're gonna be full for a day or two. I'm gonna let you have that. That's part of your diablerie. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of curious as to what you rolled. An 8. That's actually a good thing. So an 8 would be a success as far as that goes. I'm going to allow you to go ahead and get some of your willpower back because you weren't here last session. It's a new session, like new night, everything. So you can either add, what is it, willpower or resolve, or what's the other one?
Composure.
Resolve
Like
or
it's just
composure.
whichever one's higher between those two, I think.
Whichever one is higher of the two, you can remove that many superficial willpower damage.
Does it do it anytime you rest? Because
it's
for
actually at the
anybody, or-
beginning of a session is the way it's kind of
Session.
supposed to
Oh, okay.
work. I've always done it kind of like when we sleep, because we might spend 3 days in
Yeah.
a session and it just makes more sense. So it kind of hit or miss. But yeah, also everyone else at the beginning of this, it's a new night for all of you guys. Do the same as well. So either your resolve or your composure, whichever is higher, you can remove that many superficial willpower damage.
Though, do we have to also do our nightly rouse check?
The other 3 of you, other than Numar, should also do a rouse check as you wake up.
We already did that at the end of the last
Did
session.
we do it at the beginning in the last
Yeah.
session?
Sure.
Yeah, it
I
did.
think we might have. So
Because
I'm
we
okay
all
with
three,
that.
because all three of us passed. Because I'm looking at it
Okay.
right now.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
cool.
I got a 6.
Yay.
Paul got an 8, and Snowcone got a 10.
Sweet. We'll get all of our housekeeping stuff out of the way and get that done and over with. All right. Let's see. I think that covers us then. Numar. So, halfway through, you know what? Halfway through the encounter, things begin to go red for you. As you were fighting with this Tremere, she was using abilities that you've never seen. She turned her blood into acid and began eating away your flesh. You know what I mean? This is horrific shit that, like you've seen some crazy shit since you've been a kindred, but like that was a little scary. You were fighting for your life, and she was more than intent to kill you. You know what I mean? And I think for the first time that may have sunk in a little bit, which drove up your hunger. And I don't think at least as far as we've discussed, I don't think Numar has frenzied probably since creation. Like when you first wake up, you're that hungry. The first time, you kind of come to, you're pretty damn hungry. And you're kind of ravenous until fed, but you probably wouldn't remember much of that. This might be the first time that you've let the beast took control. You were no longer in control of your faculties, and the beast was in the driver's seat, and it felt uncomfortable, for sure. You remember having the fight. You remember being bared down over top of the corpse of this woman and essentially finishing the Capri Sun as you felt the last drops come out of the bottom of the straw. You know what I mean? So there was flashes after that. You do remember spending hours in dusty old libraries, scouring through tomes. You remember a young girl that seems very similar in physicality to the woman that you were fighting with. You remember an older man and an older woman that also bared the same physical features. Flashes that struck through your mind while you battled it out on the couch for this, control of will and power over who got to continue to keep this vessel after bringing in another person's essence was a bit of a fight. And ultimately, you were able to kind of sift through the different memories that were not your own, that you don't know where they came from, but now feel very much like a part of you. There are people from your past, books and events, that you don't remember ever having done in your own self, but now have full memories of being there. But there doesn't seem to be any extra voices in your head. So that's a good start. So that's kind of the struggle that you deal with for a little while, but sometime just before the nightfall, a day and a half essentially after you had that combat, you begin to snap to and regain consciousness of yourself. I will go ahead and say that as far as the rest of the coterie being about to wake up, you probably get up a little earlier, having slept already. The struggle kind of waking you up as you're feverishly trying to combat this. As soon as the night falls and the day sleep begins to even slightly wear off, you are shocked out of your system and more or less brought up, upright on the couch when you realize that you're no longer in the streets. You've been returned to Marina's apartment. You're currently sitting on the couch. Your
Or I
wounds
think we left him in the guest bedroom, didn't we?
No,
yeah.
we left him on the couch.
Okay, couch.
Yep.
The staked
He's guest
one was in
bedroom,
the-
staked guy's
yeah.
guest bedroom. Yeah, because you didn't want Tara to see it. Speaking of which, one of the things that you would see as you kind of jolt up, very like classic vampire out of a tomb, almost rising straight up on the couch. One of the first things that you see is the shocked and frozen face of Tara, still half frozen, with a shaking hand as you watch macaroni and cheese start falling off the fork that she's barely able to hold on to. As she's like finishing a bowl, as you kind of surprise her and catch her a little bit off guard. As you do, that she kind of like freezes for a minute, shakes, and then just sits down the bowl like, I'm going to bed, good night, bye, and just leaves. You know what I mean? No questions, no explanations. You do hear when she gets to the end of the hallway, you kind of hear a rapid tapping sound towards Marina's door. I think you need to go deal with that. And then you hear this, and then Marina, you would hear the slam of Tara's door. Like she just kind of banged on the door, something for you in the living room, and gone.
Reaching
You know what
over-
I mean?
Yeah, reaching over, Marina sort of was because I think Snow Cone went in there as well since all the other places were taken, and she just reaches over and kicks him slightly. He's like, hey, "We gotta get up. Come on."
Yeah, I nearly forgotten about that. You two spent the night together.
No, just in the same room.
Ooh.
Reaches
Yeah.
over.
It is a
All
very
right,
comfortable
come on.
bed, Snow Cone. This is a lot better than sleeping on the floor of an ice cream truck. Who would have thought? You know?
I mean, yeah,
Um,
I mean, velvet sheets. Damn, how much
Yeah.
money you got?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have a lot right now, and I might have a lot more later. But I think something's going on outside. Let's go. She reaches over, just grabs her gun, puts it in her waist belt. Let's go.
Silco tries to crawl out of bed, but ends up just face planting onto the floor. Just, oh, wow. Then just
Yep.
gets up and goes to the door.
Let's go.
Right, absolutely. So as you guys all find yourself now, Bart, did you also stay the night with them as well?
Nah,
No,
Okay.
he was.
I like my abode.
That's very fair. I thought I would check.
Oh.
So you may not be present quite yet at this point. This is probably when you're waking up from your own storage, a
If
locker.
anything, a note is still where I didn't fall asleep in my storage locker probably for one of the first times of my embrace. I ended up sleeping at a table over the Book of Nod. So I recall. Still, we'll
You
get back to
were.
that later.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will. We'll come back to that. So that's fun. But Marina and Snowcone, as you make your way out towards the living room, continuing with the scene that I had explained last week, you do see that there is kind of food that has been cooked and prepared, half set out. There is a half-eaten bowl of macaroni and cheese on the table, a small pile of it on the floor now, where it looks like somebody had dropped a spoonful, hurriedly leaving this area. That's kind of, there on the coffee table.
How are you gonna waste good mac and cheese like that? That's just not right.
There's definitely still half a bowl there if you want it. Yeah, still warm.
I'll,
But
I'll put it in the fridge for now. It's like focus on the priorities and stuff.
fair enough. Well, as you look over the bowl of Easy Mac, one of the first things that might be a bit of a priority that you would notice is that Numerous, who you had last left kind of in a catatonic state, murmuring to himself, almost of having wild visions and dreams, at least during the nighttime when he wasn't in day sleep, has now sat up on the couch, kind of awake and maybe even a little surprised looking, or, I'll leave that to you, Numerous. Taking a quick look around the house, it seems like everything else is pretty much of normal, except for, as I explained, next to the doorway on the way out, there is a fist-sized hole with a small little bit of blood, more or less, in the plaster next to the doorway. I mean, these are, mostly drywall, but like the solid frame, that's right next to the lift. So that's going to be actually like a block wall that now has a little bit of the block almost kind of crushed in there a little bit. And you would see that there is a note laying on the coffee table in front of Numerous.
Morning, sleepyhead. She sort of, just keeps her hand on the gun, just walking sort of closer. You sleep okay?
Yeah. What the heck's with the Terra?
Oh, I warned her that if you got up and tried to eat her, that she probably should go to her room just in case, with what happened.
Oh, yeah. Why? No. I didn't do that.
No. You didn't eat her, but you ate somebody else, and just in case you weren't you when you woke back up.
Oh, Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, well, of course I'm me.
Yeah, yeah. I did eat a person. That's my favorite part. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
It was
I,
it.
I was the one that ate, though. God, I should be fine.
Should I? Was I was it, out of game, I know, but I just want to roll an insight check just to
Yeah,
see what she would
absolutely.
believe. What is that? It's wits and insight, or
I think I'm okay with wits and insight. Yeah, I think that's fine. Even maybe like a charisma and insight, whichever's better for you.
Do I get a roll an
Uh,
insight for myself?
yeah, yeah. By all means, you're more than welcome to. Like, am I all right? You can even do wits and
am
awareness
I
for yourself,
okay?
numerous if you like. Like, am I okay? Uh,
With
let's see.
awareness. Okay.
Yeah, either one, whichever's better for you. Wits insight, wits awareness, whichever you like better. Because yours is kind of like also like looking around, like, shit, am I? Did I grow an extra arm? You know what I mean?
My spleen's still
I
there.
remember visions of like shaving my legs. I don't remember that. You know what I mean? Um, all right, so we got 4 successes as far as Marina goes. You feel like with 4 successes, so like it's not just that you believe him, but you can kind of read through what's actually being said, and it's actually more of a I hope so. Everything seems okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You definitely would probably with 4 successes over his 3 would probably detect a little bit of like a lack of confidence when saying it, but everything appears to be fine. They believe it. They don't see anything wrong, etc. And with the 3 successes, of course, looking around, you see a couple of wounds that you had sustained during that fight that still hadn't quite healed. So you look a little rough in places. You remember the ravenous hunger. I mean, just being insatiably hungry to the point where your stomach was rolling and flipping, and then allowing this darkness inside of you. It was almost like being a passenger and your body was the vehicle. Is for the first time you were more or less pulled to the side to the passenger seat, and you just watched as somebody else took control for a little while, and during that time they devoured another person. So it would be a bit of a shock, but everything seems to be fine. You recollect it all, but in vague, patchy memories. But yeah, I think altogether you're okay. You're all right. You do now also
Do I?
notice with a 3, probably also would begin to notice that Jamal is nowhere near to be found. Bart is nowhere to be found. It's just these two. Um, you would see a hole in the door as you kind of like survey the room around you. You would see that there is a fist-sized hole next to the elevator. On the way out, there is a note lying on the table um, as well. Um, you know what? I think both of you guys would see a note and a cell phone laying on the table.
Oh,
Um. Yeah. So lots happened since you've been gone. There was a weird book with some weird slideshows and stuff. Okay. Um. You feel so you're feeling okay?
Weird book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
We'll
yeah.
get about.
Like I don't know. Like I've never. I can't even remember last time I felt like actually full.
Yeah.
Like ate all you can eat, and then you actually don't want more.
Yeah.
Which kind of nice.
I
It
think
does
I.
kind of feel a little weird though.
Yeah. I get that. Um. Well, I'm not the only one anymore. That's actually a good thing. Um.
Yeah, Marina, you would definitely recall that experience for a day or two.
So what is this on the table?
It, uh, I don't know. I don't know. Did I
Okay.
write it? I've been
I don't
kind
know.
of out of it. But
I
Take it a
don't.
quick.
how long was I? How long have
About
I
a.
been asleep?
It's been like a night, a single night. It hasn't been too long. I'd say about like 12-ish hours.
Yep, somewhere
But
around
yeah.
that area. You know, a pool. I mean, it's probably been closer to like 18. You know, because you were at the end of one night, now it's your beginning of
Yeah.
another night. It's all been almost a full 24 hours, but not quite. Taking a look at Numar at the note that you see on the table, without looking at it closer, of course, you don't know what it says, but you see something has been hastily jotted on it, very short and brief, and that cell phone is Jamal's phone.
Um, take a
I
moment.
would
Go ahead.
pick up the note if I can.
Yeah. If anyone picks up the note, it simply says, in the shortest form, just since I didn't get a chance to actually write this out, I can't bring myself to withstand the trouble that I have brought. We were friends. I made a choice. I think I've chosen wrong. And now you might die for it. I won't do that again. Goodbye. And his phone is laying next to it. There's like
Um,
a single J written at the bottom of it.
Marina not really looking at the note at first. She sort of looks over at the hole in the wall and is like, "I'll go find the drywall if we have any," and sort of walks off.
Well, she's just turning into her own maintenance man. Yep. But yeah, you were left with this note. Bart,
Yo.
you wake up in a strange place. This
Uh-huh.
isn't your locker at all. Do you have like a desk that you might have fallen asleep at, or like an easy
Yeah, it's
chair?
like some real shitty table that is like a small card table. For some reason, they made something smaller than the standard card table, mixed in then with like a real creaky, just steel folding chair
Nice. The classic metal folding chair. It's
on the
definitely
table.
missing one of
Like,
the little rubber feet, so it doesn't sit even.
uh huh. So I think I generally keep most of my full garb on at times when I'm inside Mountain Haven, but I at least always take off the helmet, where so I still wake up with my face plastered onto one of the pages of the Book of Nod. First get up, it starts like maybe I hear a slight tearing, and go, oh shit,
Love
kind of
this
get up,
idea
look
that there's an
around.
inky onk now attached to your face. That's surely had no repercussions.
um, but with that, just kind of get up, realize phone has lost its charge, kind of cuss at that, get that on the charger for at least 20 minutes. Then just go through a morning routine that like takes a few minute breaks to just like go back and read a few more lines of this book that it has got its hooks in my brain. Uh Shit. I don't think that Bart will fully buy into it. Like it's not like he's gonna become a nodist right off the bat, but it's one of those this has been one of the first pieces of like firsthand kindred
Enlightening.
lore he's got. Yeah. Enlightening stuff, hopefully kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
I also want to look through that PDF you sent us that is that full on book. I haven't looked through it too much yet.
It's pretty cool. Check that out. Yeah, Google guys, you guys can find cool books and Nod. It's awesome. There's so many articles and stuff that you can find from the Book of Nod. There's a lot in there. Yeah, I think a lot of it might have even seemed a little flowery at first, and you're like, I don't know, who's the hopeless romantic that wrote this? You know what I mean? But then as you started to get a little further in, it just like, oh God, you know what I mean? Like, is this really where we came from? You might have learned a little bit about the Canite history. You know what I mean, as far as that goes. And if you believe what it says in the book, that's up to you. It's definitely some interesting stuff, though. I'm trying to think of the word. Like, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, there's some of it that's like this kind of makes sense to me, and I know these people. There's a guy in the Bible called Cain. I remember that from Sunday school. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So yeah, you piece together as much of it as you want. I'm good with that. So Yeah, you wake up. I would say that there is probably, a couple of bars left on the phone. You were only out for a night, but you can get a charge in a couple 20, 30 minutes. You got time to do your morning chores and routine if you decide to, but yeah.
But
How long do
sooner
you
or
end
later,
up?
knowing the fact that we want to go meet with the Baron as soon as possible, let's get on the motorcycle, get over to Marina's place. So
That was my next question: is how long do you loiter around? So yeah, I'd say like give it 30 minutes, 45 minutes,
just
for
the
the
rest of the PCs
process.
a
So by
moment
the
or three to do
yeah,
stuff beyond this initial scene.
yeah, absolutely. That's what I was gonna say. Unless you guys, Snowcone, the letter turned out to be from Jamal, kind of claiming that he felt some remorse for having brought Numar into this, and couldn't withstand to watch him die a second time. You know what I mean, more or less. So if you guys want to have any moments there, otherwise, Marina begins spackling with a tub of drywall mud that she found under the sink. Just like that fix a hole spackle that you keep around. I don't know why this guy did. He obviously wasn't doing it for himself. But either way, he
Or like
had it.
maybe there's a maintenance closet
Yeah,
still in suite.
there's leftovers from when the house was built. Surely, you know what I mean. Stuff like that. Little hole patching kit. That's pretty customary. Exactly. Somebody was taking care of this place, right? So that is one thing that you would definitely be able to do. But if you guys need anything else, otherwise, about 45 minutes of awkward silence go by before you eventually hear the elevator lift coming up to reveal Bart.
Hey, what's good,
Give a
bud?
wave. Yo.
Welcome, welcome.
So are we ready to go down to the club?
Yeah.
I like. Do we have our guest prepared?
Mostly, I mean, that they can't really be, turn them into the table again. That's about it. Oh yeah, there's one thing that did happen. Um,
Yeah, new Mars up. I see.
that and also, Numar, if you want to show him the note.
That.
Um,
So maybe I noticed
yeah.
on the hole in the wall too, and it's like, shit. You?
Yeah. I guess the real question is, Numar, would you have showed it to anybody else? You picked it up. Did you share
Oh yeah.
that or tuck it away? Like, obviously they saw like the phone and they might have been able to piece together that that's Jamal's phone. Like they've seen him use it. But yeah, it's up to you if you actually even really shared it, I guess. I didn't think about it.
Since
Yeah.
Marina was there, I probably wouldn't have been guarding it or anything until until I'd already shown it. Just been like,
Yeah.
Jamal left this kind of concerning note here.
Yeah, like a little
I might have
dramatic,
to talk
but
to him
I
when
mean,
he comes back for his phone.
uh, and we get rid of our phones all the time, my dude. So maybe it's just a keepsake from him to you.
But
Either way,
what do I
we have business to do.
need a phone?
Um, I
You,
I don't
you
know.
mean he's not coming back for you think?
I,
Mm.
I have no clue.
Oh,
It's not
why
really clear.
would he just leave like that? I
Because
mean,
you were like just twitching out on the couch for a solid 12 hours. So,
well, yeah, I mean, it was,
or it might have
I
been
don't
less than
know,
that now that I think about it. Either way,
bad
maybe
night,
you'll
I
see him
guess.
around again. Like,
Yeah. Well, let's we have this to do. I imagine that I would have explained. I forgot. I would have explained what happened to Numar. How was it we sort of found the book and the casing, and they gave us a slideshow of whatever. Uh, basically the best she knew it. It was basically a slideshow of what was it? Carthage. Is
Yeah,
what
yeah, the
was
yeah.
city of
described.
Carthage.
You do you describe the situation? Do you kind of like bring out the book? Like, how is it that you kind of present this information?
I probably would just have described it more or less.
Yeah.
For that bit of it, and was also help out Snow Cone if he would be able to describe it a little bit as well.
Yeah. I think I would have just been like, oh gosh, my memory's good. No, my brain.
That's the best part is like so like I'm always happy for a role in this situation if you want to remember more, but otherwise whatever you remember is whatever you remember, you know what I mean? It's a secondhand account, so it makes sense that you may not remember everything anyway.
Yeah. I guess I could. I mean, I could try. I could try at least. So
Yeah,
I'm
if you
gonna
want to
see if I
roll,
can
give
remember.
me a let's see. What would this be? It's what's essentially the equivalent to a history check. Let's see what's
Intelligence
good.
academics.
Yeah, so seeing what's good for you. So intelligence is definitely a good one. I would also, kind of take resolve as an option. Probably not best for you, Snowcone, of course. Um,
Fair enough.
um, I think something like academics, insight to try and recall as many details as you can internally. I'd probably even consider that like an intelligence insight or intelligence investigation. Again, not super. Your intelligence is great, but I know you're kind of not hitting a lot of the other points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think intelligence insight might be the best for you to try and ruffle through your own recollection and understanding of what you had seen.
Okay. All right, let's make that roll. And the dice go clickety clack. And we get a
Pop up on my side.
my favorite number.
5. Nice. 5 successes. More than enough for you to remember a bunch of little pieces. So some of the biggest things that you recall was that there was a lot of depiction of more or less the rise and fall of an empire. You saw, a city being built, but very specific to this city. It set kindred alongside mortals working together. The mortals did almost in their own way elevate these kindred up to be near worshipped. It very not if not deified, definitely treated like nobility. You know what I mean? As if they were the wealthy or the powerful within the city. And in return, the kindred protected and took care of the mortals that they fed from and were kind of, elevated by as a mutual understanding. And a city built from it that flourished for, it was over a quick span of time that you saw it, but you saw, 100, 200 years worth of progress being made in these little flashes of a silhouette posted across the wall. And as the silhouette, of course, as we explained, continued on, more senses began to kick in. You started to see more color, sense smells, tastes, all those interesting things that kind of also played into the whole effect of it. So it's going to be definitely an interesting situation to see for sure. Give me 1 second here. My earpiece just disconnected, so I won't hear you for a second. But yeah, that's kind of the situation. Is that they? I know Numar, you probably or numerousness. You may not know a ton about Carthage, but like essentially, it was a city that was an experiment by between the of the Baruha, who at that point in time were known as the philosopher kings, where they tried an experiment to mingle with humans and live among them. But eventually, it ended in an uprising of the mortals, where they kind of fought back, and their sheer mass and number caused the destruction of the city and the ultimate fall and separation of whatever this experimental development was. But it was hundreds of years ago, and that's kind of the expression that you're given. And I think Snowcone, especially with the role that you made, and I know some of you guys have like made some other insights as far as that goes already. I think it would be shocking in comparison to you to start piecing together how much relative understanding there is from like that city and the current state of events. You're constantly on the edge of a masquerade break. The entire city of Los Angeles itself is known, as you said last week, Bart, New Carthage. It was supposed to be like a new experiment, a better way of doing this whole thing. You know what I mean? But it doesn't quite always seem to work. There's missing pieces and missing components. I think like that comparison would quickly become relevant to those of you that have been a kindred more than a month. You know what I mean? Just especially living in LA. Even Marina, I think some of these parts might sink into you, even though it might be a little fresher.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, there is still like that actual item, like the book that's literally present. And if they take the time to show you, there's a man staked in the bedroom. Did you leave the sheet over him? Has he just been like having to stare at a sheet? Yeah, because he's fully conscious under there, but yeah, he's having a bad day. So yeah, it's
Hey,
like
you don't have to
they
be
like also
comfortable.
open the door and point. There's just the silhouette under a sheet, and somewhere around the chest you see like a tent post under this sheet blanket, whatever. But yeah, you guys can quickly do whatever else you want to do, gather your things and prepare. But I know you got a lot to kind of think about as to what you want to tell the Baron.
Is the sheet guy in plain view from where I'm at? Like just
No, like
looking for
they
him?
probably
That's
would have
in
been
the
like,
room.
that's if they like, hey, look in the spare bedroom over here. Also, this guy. And if they revealed it, you would recognize it was one of the men you were fighting. But yeah, there's just like a silhouette of a sheet with like a bloody tent post in the middle that's around the heart area.
That's great.
So what's the plan?
I
Uh,
believe the plan is we take our hostage here to the club. We talk to the Baron. We get things straightened out, and assuming that the person in question that wants this book is going to be there, then we're all present. We talk this out and figure out what's going on and how to resolve this.
All right. Um, I think we have
What is this
most.
for?
Oh, Damien Steele. Was it? You remember how we got we were supposed to go over the package for him? Well, we opened it up and we found that
Yeah.
book we were showing that we were telling you about. Um,
That was a book.
and yeah, that's what. Yeah, it was a book that all the information that Snowcone shared with you that was from that book. So our plan, we talked to the Baron about the book, and we're about to have a conversation with Damien Steele and the Baron. Um, she knows about it. She should cover us slightly, saying that her people found us when we got it. So yeah, hopefully. But that was the plan. We also plan to bring our friend in the back over there. To talk to the Baron.
Friend.
Points at
Got
tent.
another friend.
Yeah.
yeah, she
We
was the
turned in.
one that I shot enough to torpor, but not enough to ash.
Yeah.
So
We may or may not have turned him into a coffee table to bring him in here, so we're about to do it again to get him out.
Uh-huh.
Definitely a thing.
I'll go grab some cups.
Thank you.
do we have to attempt a craft check again, or
No,
deal
no,
I forget.
I'm so good with this. I just love that it's like I'll go get the cups. Yeah, okay. Like it's just so customary in Namara's love. The fuck did I miss, man? One day, one goddamn day.
It wasn't even a full
You
day. It
know?
was just the last
Yeah.
few hours of a night.
It's been 18 hours. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
most that
yeah.
we've been asleep.
A lot of events have happened. So of course, Numar, you do recall Damien saying that he was, it was simply an item that he was wanting collected. They kind of later come that he had mentioned it was a bottle of liquor, which was in there. there was a very nice bottle of liquor in the box, but hidden in a secret compartment was also this book, meaning that's probably why you were attacked for it. So there may have been more to Damien's story than he had originally conveyed to you. But yeah, you guys can quickly gather up your stuff, reassemble the coffee table, as you're referring to it, which is essentially just a stiff man. And when I say stiff, I mean it in the most non-internet sort of way. You know what I mean?
Wasn't this one also a lady?
No. This one. Hey, this
No,
is the lady. This
Was
is
there
the
two?
lady.
Yeah, you're right. There was two female. Yeah, two females and a
Yeah, this is
male.
the lady.
Yeah. So it was another lady. Yeah. Again. So yeah, good call on that. But yeah, they
So
just
the
kind
dude is
of.
still one that we were investigating because that was the one that we actually got a proper name on.
Yeah,
So.
you did get a name on him. Well, at very least, you got the name Rico. And the lighter in his pocket said Rico Suave. Not 100% sure if that's his real last name or not. If
Or
so,
like,
it's
could I look that
unfortunate.
up to make sure it's not like just a brand of lighter or something like
So like,
that?
if you look up Rico Suave, it's I can't remember if it's a book or a television character, but it's essentially just a charming individual. It's
Huh.
kind of yeah, like I think you would probably find it on like oh, it's Urban Dictionary, and it would just be like a smooth mofo. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like it's kind of
so
the general idea, but the Rico part, maybe, that's the name that you had mentioned, and then somebody's like, yeah, I know a Rico. That makes sense. Last
uh,
name may not be 100%, but there's still something to investigate there. Um, as far as that goes, though, they pull out this corpse that is rigid stiff as long as this is in their heart. You can see a single blood tear that's ran down out of their eye over the course of the night. They stick fork solo cups under the sheet, place it back over, and it looks kind of like a coffee table. As long as they carry the body downward, so the steak's pointing down. In its own way, like a coffee table under a sheet, so they're not scuffing it, And they begin loading it into the surface elevator. Um,
So, with my diablerie, would I have any kind of memory of this particular person,
you would.
or why we're
Um,
attacking that box?
I think absolutely. At the moment that you would kind of first see their face, um, there would definitely be like these flashes that kind of hit you, and you blink a few times, each time its own strobe light of a memory. Just brief moments, not much, but you remember fighting alongside them. You remember feeding alongside of them. You remember fucking alongside of them. They had done a lot together. They had been a coterie for apparently some time. You know what I
hashtag
mean?
bestie.
Yeah, they had kind of had their moments. When I say, of course, fucking around, like, more of a eating and pleasure amongst, other kindred kind of celebration. You know what I mean? And then fighting, having each other's back. There was definitely almost a camaraderie. When you first saw them staked, it probably actually would have pulled at your heartstrings for just a split second, knowing that there was probably originally a connection there, but of course it makes no sense to you. You really have no recollection of them. There's just little bits that are still residual from the other person that are kind of lingering. You gotta work out of the system for a day, and that's kind of helps explain where you were impaired for a little bit. Just kind of those flashes where things get a little awkward. You're almost seeing like two personalities shine through. Um,
And what was his name again?
the other kindred's name, so there was Rico. Just to go ahead and throw it out there, because I think you found some mild identification. The person that you were dealing with, that you had consumed, their name was Lula, Lulla, and this one had like an ID card for probably like a library that said Joel. It's like 300 years old, but so Joelle. It's almost like Joel, but spelled a little weird. Joel. Yep. Like I said, you barely even remember the name, like until maybe somebody flashes you what little, possessions they had. It may not even click, but yeah, you guys load this thing down into one of your SUVs. You show the book. As far as the book, you don't have any recollection of the book. It doesn't seem to stand out to you. You don't have any memories of the book. Like, it's not something that you've previously seen, but maybe was just something that these individuals had heard about and came to try and intercept, etc.
All right.
But taking a look at the book, it's a pretty gnarly book. It's very old. It's definitely strange, and it's missing a lot of pages.
All right, let's get everything put together. Who's carrying the book of time or whatever the hell that thing is?
I believe our resident breeder should be taking care of that.
All right. So you keep a hold
Is
of it.
that
keep it
directed
safe.
at me?
Of course,
Because I haven't been stating that I've been reading and shit, but yeah,
Yeah, well, I
I'll
would
still
imagine
take the book.
like, yeah, well, I imagine like you look like you like books, like
You look
he's
like
got
you
that
like
vibe,
books.
you know?
My
What a
guy's a
dick
high
statement.
school dropout. He's
Yeah,
It's
but
like
you know, like
You look
but there's
like you
been, like,
like
you know,
books.
Well,
yeah,
I
my
get it.
motorcycle's
I
like
mean, you
getting
did
into, like, a
steal
lot of
like
books.
12 books.
y'all don't fully know that.
Oh,
So
I
let's
forget if we
see.
saw that or not, because we
Or,
were just
like,
standing there.
I may
We
have
were-
pulled out one of the books when I wanted to do the little swippity swap, but I'm keeping the Book of
Okay,
Nod
yeah,
close to the chest.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, I the book,
Uh,
yeah. We're talking about the
and-
other book.
Interesting
Yeah,
enough,
sure.
so like the light show that you had all previously experienced, of course, doesn't happen again when taking possession of the book, but you do almost feel like a hum or a vibration that seems to rattle through you. Like, looking at it, you wouldn't see it, but there's almost a feeling of something pulsing from this book. The leather feels cool to the touch, even though it's been inside the house, with almost a faint energy or resonance of knowledge that might be contained within. Um, as soon as you hold it, though, you probably would have a bit of a moment, a second, in which emotions kind of fluttered through. And it's a mixture of emotions between accomplishment and disappointment. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of those things, like you've done something really well, but it just didn't work out perfect. And almost like a momentary breeze. You feel like a little wind blow past your hair. You get that cool look, you know what I mean? And as it blows through the scraggly Nosferatu hair that's barely growing out of the, like bat-like ears, maybe? I don't know how bad your
Again,
situation is.
helmet, but still
Right,
fun
yeah.
narrative. I still feel
Yeah.
the wind going through my leathers.
Exactly. But yeah, you guys can...
Would it connect at the bottom where your neck is?
Yeah, or like I try to have actually notably there's a neck protector that I have thought of for the build of the suit that is designed for the purpose of hey,
Keeping
be
the weather out.
kindred. And it's
Yeah.
trying to help block. It doesn't actually do anything beyond the armor 2
Right.
that this leather armor is, but
If you've ever looked at the helmet that's on the artwork, it's typically the type that has that mesh thing at the bottom to keep the wind out when you're or like bugs when you're going down the interstate.
Yeah.
but now it has bullet holes in it.
Maybe so. But yeah, you
Like a
guys
couple.
easily have the accessories that you need. You know that the Baron said when you woke up to come, and she would assign the meeting for early in the evening the next night. So yeah, you guys can discuss whatever you want as the elevator is descending down. You're loading into the car and making your way across the road, but much easier
Marina,
to
do you
haul the
want to
body.
handle the liquor? Because that's the one that kind of needs a little bit of social presenting.
The
Yeah, just if you're going to give this to Damien and be all nice and happy about it, of ooh, hey, we got your thingy, and
well, it's more of we got it, but then whatchamacallit, as was it, the Baron sent people to investigate the explosion, and we sort of bumped into each other, and we got this package, and she
Sell
wanted
it.
to know what someone would do, what someone would blow up a wall for. So
Yeah, it'll all work out.
yeah.
So Making your way across the street, you pull into the alley as directed. Almost instantly, it looks very much like this alley behind me here. You pull up to the back door that you have been told to come to if needing to bring things less, above board. You can sneak them in this way. Almost immediately, as soon as you pull in, almost as if someone was waiting, you do see Robert, or, sorry, I always get this guy's name wrong. Either way, her right-hand man, that is,
Henry?
Thank you, Henry, that is standing there at attention, opening the door, ready to help escort this individual in.
One coffee table.
Yeah. He kind of smiles. He says, "Thanks. I'm good with the couch. This way." And he just points down the stairs, essentially. Or no, actually, you know what? This kind of has a back entrance that does head up. I think, like, you guys would probably be led up. No, I think you guys would go to the basement. Yeah, this entire meeting would take place in the basement. And you've been down here before. There is, for the most part, like some storage down here. But you're actually taken to a second room that you've never seen before. Like, there's a couple of small storage areas down here. And you're taken into one that you haven't been into previously. Has always been kind of just in the back, never noticed. But as he opens the door and leads you in this time, you do find that it looks very much like a police interrogation room. There's a table with 2 or 3 chairs on either side surrounding it, a single metal fixtured light bulb that's kind of swinging a little bit above the table. It's not very well illuminated down here, and just basic concrete floors with a drain in the middle underneath of the table. So, like, it's very much just like a bar basement, but they've put a table and a couple of chairs down here. But immediately you're greeted with a handful of things. Excuse me. You would see that in attendance is already Izzy, sitting at the head of the table furthest from the door, facing the door as you enter. That is already kind of sitting, sat back in the chair a little bit, looking almost a little on edge, not frustrated yet, but definitely impatient to get this process started. You see to one side of her Damian Steele, who is sitting at a chair, leaned forward on the table with his hands folded, more or less waiting with a slightly perturbed look on his face, but he doesn't look irate either. And there are 3 individuals that you've not seen too often, but you've seen them around the club. You never really paid much attention to them, but they're bigger guys. Actually, 2 bigger guys, 1 bigger girl that are kind of standing there, and they seem to just be flanking the room, backs to the walls. And Bart, you've absolutely seen people carrying guns. These people are probably some sort of bouncer, but they're armed. You know what I mean? Just in case, kind of deal. You've definitely seen them around the club, typically working bar. You know what I mean? You thought them as just bartenders or things like that. It's like, maybe works out, but yeah, now you kind of see they maybe had a dual purpose. But as Henry lets you in, he helps you set the coffee table on the regular table, which causes Damien to sit back and, okay, kind of take a look at the situation.
1 coffee table for delivery. Pulls over the sheet. Just pulls off the sheet.
Gotcha.
You just hear a bunch of like the freaking cup hitting the ground.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, little solo cups clattering to the floor. Yep. But Izzy is keenly leans in and kind of observes the body. You never get used to seeing it. They're in there, right? Looking back at us. I almost feel bad for him.
I had no clue about that, actually.
I forgot about it.
She kind of takes her hands and waves over the face a little bit. You can hear me, can't you? If I may. She actually kind of takes the sheet from your hand, just slightly sets it back over the face for the time being. Like, I don't want you looking at me right now, just to break the line of eyesight. Damien, before being, introduced or anything else, more or less jumps up. So, hey, is somebody going to tell me what this is about? I hope there's no issues here. Um, Izzy, of course, to interrupt. I will make it clear soon enough. Thank you for coming. I believe we have a few things to discuss amongst all of us, and I thought it best that we should have this discussion together. So, let me just make this quick and easy. I don't have time for a long discussion. I hear about explosions in my domain last night. Assuming it to be gangbanger problem, I didn't pay much mind until I had a couple of my men alert me that there was several kindred chasing individuals down the street and having a fight. Luckily, we were able to keep the tabs on it and pick these guys up later the evening after they had apparently retrieved your package that you had them acquire. But this much noise in my domain, and she kind of pointedly looks at him. No understanding or explanation as to why this was such an important package. I thought this would be best if I asked them to bring these items here instead, because I want to know what's going on. I don't like being left out of the loop, Damien. We've discussed this. And he kind of chokes for a second, you know what I mean? Just a momentary flicker of, that power kind of being pushed down a little bit. And you would see him reply with, I understand. Please, how would you like to proceed? She just kind of points to the rest of you. Grab a chair. We're going to be here a minute.
Sure. Just pulls out a seat.
There aren't enough chairs for all of us, right? So.
There probably is like
Oh, okay.
there's probably like
wall?
one chair short. You know what I mean? Like, just to be that shitty like it's just one chair short. Somebody has to stand. You know what I mean? You can
I'll
decide.
stand.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be the cool guy up against the wall,
You lean up next to another cool guy. He's very cool. Like I said, probably a bodybuilder, like in his spare time, but he hides it well under a good t-shirt and a pair of blue jeans, but he's dressed nice, good hair, etc. But he kind of looks at you, you look at him, he does not say a word, and the awkward silence remains. But, all right, so present, if you will, let's see the rest of it.
Dramatic slam down of book.
Yeah, and also said the liquor as well, just on there. It's like we when we got the package, it sort of fell onto the concrete and cracked open the case. We found both of these on the inside.
Right. And you see that as it's kind of exposed. He was kind of maybe hoping it was still in the package. He does see that it is kind of all laying out to bear. You do see him kind of look a little frustrated and almost like, shit. Well, I mean, I can be happy to explain as much, at least of my part. She says that, immediately interrupted again by Izzy. I would appreciate that. Look, I don't mind whatever any of you do in your spare time, but this made a lot of noise. I had to do a little bit of cleanup last night, and I want to know what's going on. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. It seems like we've been having some problems already. I want to make sure this isn't coming back to bite any of us in the ass. I don't want to get involved in your business, either of you. But here I am. Somebody tell me something. Unless any one of you step up, Damien will he kind of looks to wait to see what happens.
As a suggestion on meta level, it would be good to try having us steer the narrative. So, Marina, please.
Yeah. So whenever this thing dropped, we found the crate sort of busted open. So, after she sort of led us here after we were found. We let her know what happened with the package. It was, we were able to get it back to my apartment for a short time since we did have a few injured. We let her know what happened. She told us to, come back down here today and to, not to wait to contact you. So she wanted to speak to you first. So whenever we got it there, it was cracked open. We set these out to bear. As we touched the book, there was a weird light show about some city. And that's sort of what we know.
She was almost getting ready to cut you off, and then she kind of like let you finish. Like you saw a moment to where she was like gonna say
Yeah.
something, then she waited. But at that point, she just kind of like pauses and pans dramatically to Damien to see what the other side of the argument may be. Izzy, I do apologize. I truly didn't believe this would be the issue that it turned out to be. I had an acquaintance supposed to be delivering a package that I was hoping not to go after myself. They were in the area. I thought it would be a beneficial chance for us to make a friendship, help each other out. That's kind of what we're all supposed to do here, right? That's the point of the domain. Well, unfortunately, it seems that somewhere along the chain of command, someone let slip that this box contained more than a nice bottle of brandy, which, by the way, is for you. You know what I mean? He just kind of like pushes it her way, almost as a peace offering. I thought it was a gesture of good faith. I needed something to put in the box. Anyway, I had gotten a rumor of an artifact that was being passed around through some art dealers. They didn't know what it was. They had been unaware of its full potential, but many of them believed it to be of arcane nature, like a spell book. They had no idea what they were looking at. It just looked cool. I got it for a good price, but, I wasn't even sure until I just heard light show. There might be some more validity to the stories that I had heard. I do know that it's supposed to be a collective works of some age and significance to our kind. And she immediately kind of like stops. She takes a breath. She just like, rubbing her hands, looking a little frustrated, but also kind of trying to piece the puzzle together. She says, "Who told you?"
Can I keep an insight on him as he's doing all this as well?
Absolutely. If you want to go ahead and roll
Uh,
insight.
And
Can I
Luckily,
as well?
you had already sold a lot of your story last week, so I didn't need to make any rolls there. But yeah, if anybody wants to do insight, tell you what, just everybody go ahead and roll insight, and then we'll have it for the rest of the kind of.
Insight and?
So this is gonna be
Wits,
wits and
typically.
insight. Yeah, wits insight for this one, and this way we just have a nice
Okay. Actually, I'm going to use one willpower just to re-roll these three just because I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or I think mine was the 3 potential reroll. Yours is just with 1.
Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Yeah, no, it was the wrong one.
Which I might actually take that option myself, though.
Yeah, because I rolled it. I thought yours was mine just for a second.
Yeah, no worries. Let me know your final rolls whenever you get to them. I know it takes a second. Vampire's a great game, but their dice rolls are a little slower. But God, they tell you so much more. Love them.
I think 4 on mine.
Okay, 4 for Bart. Marina, do
3.
you have a total?
I have a 3.
Well, our high
3?
one, though. We got
Okay,
crit.
Newmar got a 5.
That's good. That's good.
nice.
5 somehow on 4 dice.
Nice. And was that a yeah, it was a regular success, not okay, yeah, you're not hungry. I just realized. Yeah, those are none of those are blood dice for you. And then Jive, you got what do we get here? 3 success for you. All right, so 3, 3, 4, and 5. Gotcha. So one thing that you would all notice, is as this is mentioned, and she says, "Who told you it had significance?" You notice two things right off the bat. One, she is definitely trying to ask, is it somebody in particular? You know what I mean? Two, he doesn't reply. He only looks at her with a look of, yeah. You know what I mean? Kind of an acknowledgement that her, whatever she's assuming is probably correct. But there's no answer given as far as to who it was. In this case, and she just kind of, even with so especially like Numar, with the 5, I think you would even see kind of a little bit of a look of disapproval, but expectance, like she expected that answer, but kind of a little annoyed by it. It's very subtle, but she's got a really good poker face. But yeah, it would definitely kind of be noticeable for you. But otherwise, she says, well, what's so special about it? You said a light show. I have only heard of these type of things. I've never actually seen one. As she goes to reach forward to grab it, unless somebody goes to stop her.
No. As she's expressed, she's like, suggest that she's like, well, I mean, maybe if you touch it, it might do it again. The second time we touched it, didn't do anything. So,
Or Snowcone did it alongside using like their powers, right?
yeah, but she's acting like we haven't told her anything about it.
So correct. Snowcone had went to approach it using his premonition ability, but before he was even able to activate it, it had kind of seemed to trigger this response. That caught you all by attention. And interestingly enough, when you see her grab it, there's a moment when she grabs it and you're waiting for something to happen. And as she kind of sits back with it, you see her eyes kind of glass for just a split second. It's almost insignificant, the amount of time that you see it happen. And then she kind of takes and in a voluntary, because it's like a mental response that shouldn't be there. You see her inhale, unnecessarily inhale, almost as if she was catching her breath a little bit. And she says, "Interesting. It's a feeling, isn't it? You can definitely tell the weight." And she begins flipping through the pages. Numar, you would kind of guess she just kind of had an experience of some sort. You're not sure to the extent, but like the way she reacted, something more than just her picking it up and feeling a vibration had taken place. It's entirely possible the event that you guys had all experienced was more subconscious than literal. But she begins kind of slowly tipping through the pages. Being careful not to damage this old book. She flips a handful of them, almost perusing, and sits it back down on the table. It's an old book with missing pages and a busted cover. Why is this worth explosions in my street? Why the necessity? Damien, I'm not giving you shit here. You asked them to do a favor, that's not a problem. And for you, you simply, from the best that you described last night, were defending yourself in a bad situation. I'd rather not get in the middle of this, but what warrants explosions on the edge of my domain? We've already got enough issues with that side.
Yeah, since she technically hasn't changed yet from the other night, she's just sort of like, pulls out her, like, kind of like moves her clothes a little bit where the like debris and a little bit of scorch from the explosion sort of is on her clothes. Like, yeah, it wasn't that fun.
My main concern is that our relations with Wilshire are less than favorable at the moment. know that you guys are kind of the new guys to town, but I'm not exactly the favorite baron to every other coterie, or to every other domain. I want to make sure that we don't piss on anyone's uh, little plot of land, since this is kind of in a gray area. I'm just trying to piece it together. As far as the possessions themselves, we will come to a decision. And also, this individual. How much do you feel they know? Or do you think that they will be
Well,
useful?
now that you said that, like, they heard us and stuff, it's one of those, like, they know at least a bit from uh being around us,
It's a
you
fair
know.
point. Well,
Yeah.
we have the option to ask them questions if we need to, but if you only if you feel that it's worth it.
I that is that is up to you. Do you guys have any ideas of anything to ask him? I'm not really too sure on most of anything that I've seen these past few days. Um,
It's like hard to argue this when it's like they're right there and uh
I mean, so
Right?
they tried to kill us.
yeah, like end of the day, like I don't have that much information I want directly just due to this specific instance. If we could just like get all the information out of this person, maybe we would get something cool. But like then that goes down into like the realm of torture and stuff like that. So I don't know
You
where
would
we
be
stand on that
surprised
here.
how often people tend to speak when I ask them questions.
Ooh.
She points at Snowcone.
Um,
You had something to say?
I think the only valuable information to me personally would be um is whose house they belong to. I know this is a anarch household and anarch territory, but maybe finding out where they are, who are they aligned with.
they didn't look like
Majority
camis,
wise,
right?
yeah, that could
Kind of
lead into
laughs.
something.
Just a little bit. She says, it's not Harry Potter, Snowcone. You know what I mean? And kind of chuckles. And you kind of get a little bit of like, she's young enough to get that reference. You know what I mean? Domain, I guess, would be the way of putting it. But I understand your point. That's what I would like to know as well. Is if they think that it's okay to just walk into my domain and cause trouble, I want to make sure they're not from here. I don't recognize them. Most any kindred that's in my territory, I typically know. I don't recognize. She kind of peeks under the sheet again. I don't know this one. We could investigate. I could have people to spend some time with them if need be. But I mean, my concern is, what do you want me to do here between the two of you? My only concern in this is the issues that have taken place. But now, this is a artifact that is going to attract attention, Damien. It's not something I'm real thrilled about because I have enough problems. No offense, the new guys in town just got drug into a big pile of shit, and it's all kind of falling on all of our doorsteps. So I think we can collectively work together to figure this one out.
Is there a library of sorts like within LA? Like a place that's known to kindred that like would be proper to store a thing like this?
Like an archive?
Yeah.
Um, so like, is that just generally asking or asking aloud? I guess would be the best question.
I think first asking in my head, and if that doesn't come up with anything, then asking aloud. So
Not that so like right up top of your head, even the individual that you went and saw had a small, library. He had a couple of books, but
yeah, I
like
don't think
that's
Frederick
really,
is exactly
Yeah,
Like, I want to give the book to Frederick, but I'm guessing the room does not want to give the book to Frederick. So,
right. Well, I was actually meaning the individual that you had met where you had got
oh yeah,
the
that
other
gold
book
person. Which,
from.
what
But
was their
yeah,
name again?
also,
Or like,
I have it here. But yeah, that also Frederick, the pawn shop owner, Nosferatu pawn shop owner, would also be
Kelly.
another individual. Trying to figure out their name, by the way.
I
It was,
think it was Kelly.
Carlos.
Carlos? Okay.
That's what I have written down here. Yep,
Gross.
Carlos.
Carlos Local.
Yep. But no like major, kindred storage or library would definitely come to mind at all.
So then asking directly to
right.
Izzy, I guess.
As that kind of comes out, Damien says, now, I mean, as far as this goes, I understand it caused a little bit of problems, but I believe it's still my property. And she kind of gives him a bit of a look, a mix between like, that's my choice, not yours. But he doesn't back down. He holds a firm statement that, like, regardless of the situation, a boon was offered and accepted in exchange for its delivery. If there's some sort of
delivery of the whiskey, right?
if there's some sort of recompense as far as the damages that were caused or the, any possible jeopardy to the masquerade, I'm more than happy to do my part in resolving that matter. I've always worked with you. You know this. And she kind of nods. I don't have a reason why to take either the possessions. I do have a reason to take this. You see her grab that bottle of, brandy from the table, and she actually kind of just points at one of the individuals that's standing next to Snowcone. She says, just, could you give me a glass? And he just immediately turns, walks past you, and goes to retrieve a glass. The book is of concern to me that it will draw attention. It is your possession, technically. You would ask them to retrieve it. I wish you were more direct with them about what they were retrieving. Some of this might have been prevented. Well, I just simply didn't want to get anyone else. Look, it's your business is your own. I can only say so much, but now your business has become all of our business.
Well,
Please continue.
The entire thing about that, though, if I remember correctly, I personally asked you on how dangerous this thing would be to pick up, and you said it was just, something that no one would care about at all.
And he does. He starts addressing you directly. I mean, look, I didn't want anyone to know what was in the package, obviously. You see what happens now that people know. Carlos had the package for a day. He had no trouble with it. I assumed it would be a simple pickup. I didn't know, but obviously there was a glitch in the system. He kind of stammers over his words when trying to find a better explanation for, like, shit went south. But it's directly intercepted again by, God, I hate playing two NPCs. Izzy, who says, again, I kind of concerned that who was it that leaked this information? Who else knew you had it? Especially considering where you got the information from. And he says, I see where you're going with this, but I never mentioned anything about going and getting it. It must have happened during the transit, or is it exchanged hands? God, I don't know who it came from. It just ended up in a collection at an estate sale. Somebody literally had this sitting in their attic. They had no idea what it was, but if anyone might have seen it as it went through the customs coming into the country, or as it went through any of the auction processes, it is my fault that I didn't think that anyone knew it was here? And he kind
How
of looks, a
important?
little disappointed.
How important is this book?
And there's kind of a moment there where, like, Izzy turns and looks at him too. How important is it? I didn't want to say anything until I had gotten a chance to look at it myself. I'm not sure yet. I haven't looked, but if it has anything that I can think of, I think it could be vitally important, especially in today's conflicted, Los Angeles.
Hmm.
You
So,
know,
in
please.
that case, if it's she just sort of cuts him off. She's like, in that case, if it's that important, and that people now know that it was being delivered to you or where it's being delivered to, wouldn't it be not a great idea for you to be holding on to it directly?
But
If people blew down a wall in the middle of nowhere to just get to this thing, they blew up a fucking wall.
yeah, you see him go to disagree with you, and then Izzy kind of gives a little bit of an exchange, and he hesitates for a moment, and look, I hope that it can provide us some useful information. If the stories I've heard about the book are true, it can give us a lot of details about a lot of things, but and he kind of looks a little frustrated, but Izzy eventually says, "I hate to agree, Damien, but if it's a matter that significant, I don't want to take what is not mine to take, or take something that belongs to you. But at the same time, I also don't want another problem with it being in the area. I think that if it's of concern to all of us as you claim it to be, why don't you tell us what it does? What is the concern, and what is the benefit that it's supposed to be offering here?" Um, and he kind of takes a moment, thinking over his words. You see him kind of like trying to piece it together.
Coming up with
If
bullshit.
the story of the third city, you should know this. I mean, it's he kind of looks at her, and in a way, like, it's not only just a piece of kindred history, but there's something to be learned from there. I mean, this is what we're trying to build, right? I thought maybe if I could find some information, something that kind of led more to that direction, I could prevent from being the problem that you assumed me to be when we met. I thought maybe this could be the missing piece that we've been looking for to help all this make sense, and it could benefit us all.
Well, as she sort of cuts him off one
Yeah,
last
go
time,
for
is
it.
like, well, the one thing that I'm saying is I've never been to say to take it away from you. I'm just more on the line of saying, if this thing is as important as you believe it to be, and have gotten all that information, if people know that it was being delivered towards you, being in any place that are fully associated with or have holdings over, will be likely targets. If it's that important to keep, then maybe we shouldn't. Not saying that you don't have any sort of access to it or it's being taken from you, but just somewhere that people wouldn't expect it to be. So you still have access to it, and so do others. Or if if it's your property, so to say. But I'm just stating in a sense of it might not be the smartest to keep it within your own holdings.
Like to see anyone try to take it from me if once it's in
They
my
did.
possession. But it wasn't in my possession. Fortunately, I agree. I fucked up. I fucked up. I didn't know that it was going to be such a hard exchange. I've known Carlos for years. I bought 100 antiquities off of him. I mean, how was I supposed to know somebody was watching this one? But, I look, I take responsibility for everything that happened, and trust me, I'll put my men down there, whatever you need, to help clean up the mess. I don't want any issues with you, Izzy. As he kind of points towards her. But there's some truth to what you're saying. I don't feel that belongs to me either. This should be something we all take a look at and maybe try to gain something from. Look at the fucking streets around us, Izzy. How much battles do I have to wage on the side of my borders for you? And why are we not working together? And he kind of gets a little frustrated and a little straight with her. And she kind of goes to say something, but stops. He made a, enough of a point to get through to her. If you want to work together, here's a great opportunity. Somewhere inside of this book might be an answer as to why the kindred around here can't stop fighting with themselves long enough to make any progress. Why we're stuck repeating the same cycles that have happened 100,000 years over and over again, so that we don't have to be as bad as the sins of our fathers or our sires, as he would say. And at that point, like, he kind of chokes on the last word, like, we could be better than those who made us, and kind of stops on the words. Numar, again, with the roll that you made. Actually, who rolled the 4? Bart rolled with a 4 as well. You would kind of realize that he almost felt like he overspoke a little bit again, saying more than he probably wanted to. But, stops at that point and just says, I don't know if it's going to help anything at all. But if there's anything that might, why can't we use it?
Yeah,
I just
Bart's
tried to
nodding
do a
along
good
to him,
thing.
like, he's actually managed. I still don't like Damien, but like at least in this instance, he's been sold to me. Like,
Well,
It's, I don't know what else to say. I'll help clean up the mess. It's a good idea, at the very least.
well, I'm just the thing that I'm concerned about. I agree with everything you said, but it's you also got to how many. Do you believe that if it's somewhere within your holding and other people know about this? Because if these 3 knew about it, how many others could know about it?
I think that's worth investigating. And I'm not, look, at this point, the only concern that I have is to make sure that it gets utilized and not swept under the rug or lost to the, the back storage room of some collector's house that has no idea what the hell he's holding. He says, I can feel it. As soon as you brought it in the room, I can feel it in my blood. There's a connection to us. This is our history. I think we should all be using it together. I've tried to approach your coterie. Honestly, this was a bit of a trial run to see how well we could work together. I didn't expect it to go so poorly, if I'm being honest.
Why
But
do it
I
so
just
covertly?
assumed that if this worked out well, maybe we could work on future projects like this.
Well, working together doesn't involve lying to us about certain objects. And the first thing you asked me whenever we walked in there is the very first thing that our conversation started was if any of our properties were for sale.
I sell real estate.
But that was the first thing, basically the first thing in your mouth whenever it came into it.
It's prudent for us vampires to make a good first impression, and I must say that was not the best of impressions.
What would you think of my first conversation? The first thing I did when I walked in that room was like, so, is the building next door for sale? It does look really nice, I'd like, it just doesn't set a good tone.
I didn't know where you were staying. I'm sorry if it's
Well,
it's a small
actually,
domain. I know it's in the area, but God, I don't, I'm not trying to buy your whole block, but sure. And he actually kind of gets cut off here by Izzy. And she says, Damien, it's pretty clear that you've been strategically picking places around my domain to purchase. It doesn't bother me because I'm not concerned for you overthrowing me. But you gotta give him credit. It does sound a little off-putting. You think I haven't noticed? And he kind of chokes again for a second, like, shit, I didn't think you noticed. You know what I mean? There's that brief moment where he realizes a little bit of it. Look, it's call it the businessman in me, or the blood. I didn't mean anything by it. I truly didn't. But it's a wise move. You keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I don't know which one you had fallen on yet. We hadn't spoken much.
You said that was, you see how well we could work together. The entire first thing that you said was, yeah, go get a package. It's nothing important. It shouldn't be any dangerous. You should at least, if you want to work together,
Dude.
that involves honesty.
Do you think the kindred tell everyone the truth?
I've been outside this hotel for 3 fucking days. I have no shit about any of this.
Maybe somebody should
But-
explain to you. You probably shouldn't trust anyone with a beast inside of them.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but I mean, I
But
did what I
if you-
did, and I don't have regrets over it. I'm sorry that it happened the way it did, but I mean, if you expect every individual that you meet to tell you their secrets or their machinations or whatever you believe that I'm doing, I don't know what to expect.
No, I'm not saying you tell us everything. I'm not saying tell us about the book or anything that was in it. I was just saying, if you stated that this was a test to see how well we could work together, lying on that doesn't start good on your end.
Be much of a test if you knew.
But
Look.
I'm saying a lot.
And
You
at
just
that
sort of-
point, he's starting to raise up. You're starting to raise up, etc. And at that point, that's when Izzy just stands up. Look, enough, both of you. It's on my plate now, so let's talk about it.
And was
Okay,
the last
Damien, I'm actually interested to see how you think this is going to help solve all the or the border problems we've been having. Because fucking trust me, I'd love to have a few less of them. Marina, you should probably speak with your coterie about exactly how honest some of our people are. You're right. It's not good protocol, but I can't blame a Ventru for Ventru. You know what I mean? And she kind of, he's not, and it's just fucking descendants. Either way,
Yeah,
if you don't want to be this, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, the only point that I wanted to make about that was he said that this book could be, the way that whatever he was talking about for all of us to work together. It probably would honestly start a little bit easier if we didn't lie to each other about shit like this.
To make sure I wasn't buying a comic book either before I said something to the fucking Baron. Make a bit of a fool of myself if I claimed to have some piece of grandeur and turns out I had bought a $100,000 Etch-a-Sketch. I wasn't sure. Either way, enough. It's here now. How do you want to resolve it? Damien, as far as I'm concerned, I can't take what property is yours, but I want to be a part of whatever process comes after it because it has caused damage. If you need help with security, let me know. As far as Marina goes, I feel like they have a fair point. You've drugged them in it. They nearly lost one of their members. Actually, where is? And she kind of stops for a minute. Tells Jamal.
Yeah.
He's dead.
No, he's not.
So
What did we just say about lying?
Yeah. I was doing it for dramatics.
He left.
It doesn't matter.
For what?
Look, they've suffered enough as well. At least let's find some sort of civility in this process to figure out where to go next, so that I can go back to my knight. I've got a fucking kingdom or a barony to run. You know, essentially is kind of the gist of it. Look, I understand not wanting to relive the sins of our forefathers. Trust me, I get it, Damien, I do. But you also got to make me. You got to understand I'm a little concerned that it's not those sins coming back to haunt us with ambition and desire driving or overpowering our basic survival instincts here. We should be looking out for each other. You're saying it yourself. I don't want you putting any of my people at risk unnecessarily if it's not something that is going to benefit everybody. So is this something that we actually need to put our heads together or what? And like, it's, where do we go from here? Somebody give me an idea as to how this thing actually benefits me. I see a book and a fucking corpse. As far as I'm concerned, the mess downtown, Damon, you can help me resolve that, clean it up. Again, I'll offer whatever protections on the book, but I want to be involved and made aware of its location and any issues that may arise concerning it before they become a problem for me. As for you guys, look, I brought you into this. So, Damien, don't blame them, blame me. But I feel like they're owed an explanation if you're going to drag them into the middle of this, sending them on a package run in the middle of the night. Whether it was intended to go bad or not, it did, and that was on your watch. There's a debt owed and a debt to be paid. You said it yourself. And he kind of like, he looks a little bit frustrated at the idea, but
Marina, was it as he
a
sort of looks
deal
frustrated?
is a deal.
Yep.
The offer
Do you want
stands.
to discuss the deal upstairs?
As he sort of looks frustrated, Marina gets up. She sort of sticks her hand. Is like, I'm sorry for the way that I said things. It wasn't the I didn't mean to go off that far. But as I'm saying, this book can be important. But you
Go
know,
off. Think this is bad?
no,
Never
I
been
don't
to a
think
business
it's bad.
meeting.
I just
It's been rather civil. I can't complain, but
yes, I just
I
don't want any
just wish
hard
I'd have had more
feelings.
time to look through the process before bringing this to the collective, because I don't know if it's going to solve our problems. But it's just something that I thought would be beneficial.
Yeah, I'm. It's just I'm new to all this, and let's just say that I know for we're all used to everyone here is used to it, but probably we should probably if we're having any sort of chance of actually working together, all of us, as you put it, and from everywhere, lying's you said it's just second nature to us. Something we should probably work on if anything is going to be done in that department, more than probably what this book can offer us. If no one can trust what the other person says, it's probably not going to go well in the way of working together.
I am not
I know.
about exploring new ideas. I
I'm just
am
saying.
open to suggestions. I think it's worth discussing. Either
I'm
way,
just saying.
a boon was offered you of moderate size. You may call that in at whatever choice and time that you wish. I do owe you that. And I feel moderate is an ample word. You know, a simple package delivery would not suffice, but through what you went through, I feel it's only right. So call it in as you wish, as you see fit. And until the debt is paid, the debt is owed, I will pay it.
And one last
I write it
thing.
down. I post. That is our boon tally thing that
Yeah.
currently has
Yep.
a major boon from Izzy Now a moderate boon from Damien.
Moderate boon from Damien. Yep.
Could, like, through mine and Marina's efforts, could we try bargaining? Well, just on a meta level, one thing I want to try bargaining for is getting rid of this body. Do you think we could get Damien to do that for us?
Entirely possible.
Or
As
do we
far,
want this torpid body?
I mean,
I guess.
the suggestion was thrown out there that if you want, it could be this person could more or less be interrogated and never found again if you want that to happen. That was kind of Izzy's insinuation. Is like, look, are they worth talking to, or do we just get rid of the body? You know what I mean? Like, it's a corpse. Which one do you want? So like, Izzy would probably be willing to dispose of it, or however she makes these things happen. You know.
Was it? Yeah, Marina would actually will look over to Izzy. Is like, speaking of something that we said earlier, that we don't know who leaked this information. There might be someone at or on this table that could answer that for us.
I had the same thought myself. Unfortunate part is dead men speak few tales, but we're not exactly dead, are we? Let's hope they talk. Drag her to the back room. We'll have her interrogated. I'll deal with the mess in the morning. If she doesn't talk, she'll meet. We'll make sure to nail her to the roof.
Right.
Put a lot of sunscreen on. She'll need it. You hear that? She kind of like looks at the corpse as they begin dragging it off the table, and taking it off to kind of a separate room.
There goes my coffee table.
Oh yeah. Did I get her gun? Like, is that
Yeah.
now within our possession?
Yeah,
Like a rifle?
Yeah, she had a decent, more or less, modern. I think it was like a.
It was a machine pistol with a stock.
Oh yeah.
I think what it was.
Yeah, it was a machine pistol stock type deal. So like it's like a what the hell do you want to call that? Like, not an Uzi, but like a yeah, like a Tech 9 type setup. Yeah, exactly.
Slightly worse than what I got from the truck. Therefore, this is now a trophy gun. How nice. We have something for our wall.
Still handy when you need it. You know what I mean?
Try that
as
too.
far as that goes.
Keep it loaded while also looking like a trophy gun. That's a fun way of doing it. Like it's a just in case, but also
very cool accessory that you would notice is this is one of those guns that have the nice like folding stock, so it's easier to put into a smaller compartment. It's easier to carry than your shotgun, but yeah, it would offer less damage. Ooh, excuse me. So you'd be looking, since it's an automatic, I would say this is a +2. You know what I mean? Instead of like so like it does have a high rate of fire, even if it is shooting essentially 9mm. But yeah. Beyond that point, she says, look, Damien, you don't have to always be trying to fix everything that's been broken before us. Like, I get it. This whole place, like, I know you guys are, oh shit, these guys. Los Angeles is a place where lots of things have been tried and attempted. Lots of things have failed. I don't know where you came from, but it's the same mortal as dead. Nobody ever makes it work. There's no right answer. The government's fucked. The system is fucked. Kindred are fucked. But, it's supposed to be the place where we make it better. Unfortunately, it's just turned out to be a lot more of the same, but I believe the ambitious one over here is simply trying to make sure not to make the mistakes that have happened before us. Unfortunately, I have to try and give them a little credit for not being like most have been true. She just kind of smiles a little bit at that, you know what I mean, herself. Kind of lets it go at that.
There's also one slight thing. I just want to make sure, Izzy.
Go ahead.
How much drink are you okay with me having? Because I am slightly still banged up from the other night, and I could probably use a little bit of a quick patch up.
Make
I
sure to
don't
drink
want
your
to
fill tonight. It's fine.
Okay, I don't want to overindulge. I just wanted to ask you to make sure how much you're okay with, or what you were okay with.
We've had a rough couple of nights, and I don't want any of my people out there working at half capacity. Speaking of which, I do want to talk to you as well. Not that you're required to sit at the edge of your domain and guard your post, but has there been anything that has progressed? I've asked about you looking into the disappearance of Robert. Um, we've discussed, excuse me, what else? We discussed this
Like still the shootout.
ghost
That's-
situation. What did you were
That's-
supposed to be speaking with the Tremere? Was there
Um,
ever any decisions made there?
I don't remember
think-
any decision made that.
I think the person, and the person that we have looking into it is still looking into it. They're looking at a few different things, but disappearance. I there for that part of that?
This was before you joined our
But-
group,
Okay.
sweetheart. It's been 3 days.
We did get one
Calm
update
down.
there. It's where we found out that the potential shootout was spurred by a. I'll give the description of like where it's the old white teacher dude. Was what we were
Yep.
told was the vibe.
Yeah.
That was super the vibe, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So, is there anyone of
Yeah.
that description that you know of?
Yeah, he's sort of. I have them actually looking for the guy for us. She sort of smiles.
Tell you what, Bart, on that one, give me. This is gonna be a weird roll.
Okay.
Because you're trying to explain something to her that she doesn't know if she knows. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? So like, let's
Yeah.
see if we can pull this off in a roll. Let me see what you got here as far as your skills. It's definitely gonna be like an intelligence thing.
Okay.
Because you're trying to like mentally convey something to her, I think, or even maybe wits. I think wits would be fair here. But like it's gonna be like a mix of like wits and persuasion type deal, or wits and
Go
trying to
ahead.
think of like the
Maybe,
best
like,
way I could
Wits
think.
and politics? Like just
Wits and politics would be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with wits and politics. That's
Take
good.
it.
That's a good setup.
No.
butter. How can I describe a face?
3.
Maybe a little better than even they did. Based on vibes.
Numar, you having, since we're using the same or insight checks for the whole thing, you catch that when he says something about like old white teacher dude, there is a split second when she looks at Damien with like a, do you know anything? And just the briefest look of like he's giving her the same look at the same time, like both of them are like, that triggers something, but the dots aren't. No, I don't think so. No, and then she says like, no, I don't know. Where's?
Yeah.
But
Well, we at least got like an area to go stake out, so gonna
Yeah.
do
I'm
that
just
probably in the next few
glad
days.
to know that something's still being worked on there. I don't want
Yes.
to think that
Um,
I put you in charge of these things and you have other priorities
Oh,
that
no.
seem to be taking,
Yeah, I had
taking
a
charge.
I had a conversation with him. He said that he went to like a Starbucks and saw this man and then sort of blacked out and only remembered waking up after the party after he got hit, is what he said, or something like that.
I definitely want you to follow up on this. I don't know why, but something doesn't set right with me about that description. Definitely make sure to
Yeah,
keep
like
on it, and I want to know as soon as you know something. Damien, the decision is yours. I don't know why you... Look, if we're going to all work together, we actually have to all work together, Damien. Tests and mistrusting in other kindred, I completely understand, but... Look, it's either shit or get off the pot. At this point, make up your mind. Let us know something. Again, I want to be informed of everything that happens, and I feel like we're only owed a greater explanation once you've had time to think about how important this relic of yours actually is. Don't get me wrong, I can feel it too. There's something to it, but I want to know everything that you know. It's your property, but this is my domain. It's our
Us-
domain, and she kind of looks to the collective of the room. You know what I mean when she says it.
Gee, we're not being exploited.
Speaking of one other thing, I might need to talk about to both of you guys later, but it can be separate. But I may be coming into some things, and I might want to talk to you two about some things that I might be getting a hold of. Speaking of, being forthright.
I would like to have that conversation. Kind of,
I
looks at you.
I currently don't know what I'm getting a hold of. It's going to be something I have to check out later whenever I get, confirmation.
Well, if
Oh,
it's real estate, and she kind of cuts a daggered look at Damien and cuts him off mid-statement. Don't. Hey, just. I'm a businessman. What do you want? You know what I
funny
mean?
thing is that might be, so I might have to talk to you about some things, but I want to have a full conversation with everybody before what it is. I have to see exactly what I get, how much I get, and all that sort of stuff.
Right. Um,
It
let
wasn't
me
really
know if
too
you need
clear to
any
me.
help with it. It's the
Thank you.
one thing I'm good at.
Speaking of which, I should probably check and see if that lawyer has emailed back yet.
Either way, unless there's anything else I need to be a part of this conversation. Any other mediations that you need me to do? I mean, all right. Well, I would like to head upstairs and have a nice drink of that bottle of brandy. Thank you, Damien. And she kind of smiles with an almost sarcastic smile, like, yeah, I'm keeping the bottle. I know it wasn't for me. But I'm keeping it. You said it now. And, as she's handed a glass, she grabs the glass in one hand as the gentleman walks back in after they've disposed of the corpse. You're welcome to join me if you guys want. Be upstairs, making sure that my club doesn't burn down or explode as well. But
Well,
otherwise, both of you stay in touch, and I want to know what everyone knows on this situation. Hopefully, you guys can resolve these issues yourself next time.
hopefully.
I appreciate you coming at my behest, and she gives you kind of like a knowing look, Marina.
Mm-hmm.
Give a roll for Damien to see if he catches it. Either way, seems to go unmentioned at very least. But yeah, 'cause, you're all welcome, of course, to have drinks. Enjoy your night. Stick around for a while.
Yep.
If anybody needs me, I'll be upstairs. And she grabs her bottle and glass. You hear them clinking together as she walks out. Stay out of trouble. And she makes her way out the door.
No promises.
Yeah. She just keeps
What
walking.
we're good at.
The
It's kind of
three
what we're good at.
Yep. The three individuals that were standing circling the room immediately break into like rank behind her, like a row of ducklings following their mother, and follow her out the door, leaving you alone with Damien in this room, who begins kind of tucking in his chair, fixing his cufflinks, etc. Almost buying a moment there in case anyone wants to say anything, but otherwise seems to be preparing to leave. You guys
Walking up,
can
she just sort of
sit. Yeah.
walking up, she just sort of sticks her hand out. I'm like, I'm sorry for how everything transpired, but At least you have your property and everything's good now, right?
Fair enough. Snoka, by all means, man, jump in.
Yeah. I was just gonna walk over to Damien and hand him one of my business cards since they might they might need some help in the future and we could help each other. I just say to him, if you're ever in need of some pharmaceutical help, you could always give me a call. And I may be in the business of buying some property myself in the future.
I heard you were working out of a van. Is that true?
You got to start somewhere.
We can talk. Look, seems like you guys got drug into the middle of this on my behalf. I apologize for any shit that this caused with Izzy. I didn't realize it would get to her ears so fast, and I hoped it wouldn't, to be honest, but it has now, so maybe we are all in this together.
Okay.
Look, you did good work getting it back. I appreciate the work you did. I'm not upset. I just truly wish I'd have had more time to research this before giving Izzy the idea that maybe I don't know. I don't want this to backfire.
Well, we'll work the best we can to not backfire, but with it being in her attention now, either way, it's still, if the plan is for all of us to work together, that's honestly probably a better outcome instead of her learning that you've had it for a while and failed to talk about it, maybe. That could have led to even more backfire.
It's just a book until it's proven more. Question
Yes.
is, do you truly want to work together? And like before he even thinks about lets you finish, he just starts moving towards the door. Think about it. You know where my office is. And just kind of makes his way out the door unless anyone stops him. Yep.
We'll see.
You can tell he's a little irritated, but for the most part, we made the rolls last week. The rolls that you had made to have I apologize, Izzy more or less take the blame that it wasn't you that brought this to her attention, but her seemed to have played over with him.
In a sense, it's not even her to blame. It's just more of things happened. There was combat, and we were trying to grab a package. It's like, well, what's so important about it?
Absolutely. But yeah, you are left to the room by yourselves.
Well, I'm gonna go grab some drinks and check my phone for a return email from the lawyer.
Is there anything we need to be doing as a group tonight?
Still very early. You only been
Like
here
we
about
make
an
our
hour.
way up, kind of strolling and chatting.
Yeah. Making your way up.
I got some shit to do, but nothing too pressing.
Yep. Making your way up and back to the actual club itself. It's like a Tuesday night. It's not super packed, but this is a city known for frivolity. You know what I mean? Those that want to unwind still unwind. It seems more like you're getting a lot of your bankers and people that don't always fit in on Saturday but still want to go out and be a part of it, trying desperately to fit in, kind of deal. You see a lot more people in slightly nicer suits, less on the frat boy attire that you're used to around here. The club music, even though it is still kind of like a house R&B type sound, it's a little bit more on the slow R&B jam of it, to make for a more milder crowd. But there's still a good 50, 60 people milling about this bar at least. Just that you see on the first level, not even counting the upper booths and things like that. But as you make your way to the bar, all automatically, as you arrive at the bar marina, you are handed a rather sizable glass. It's kind of almost disguised as a mixed drink in a very, like non-transparent cup. More or less with a nice straw and flowery decorations to cover what's actually in it. But I will say that because you specifically had kind of asked, there is up to 3 dots worth of blood in this drink. The same for the rest of you. As you guys kind of make your way up there, everyone else is also kind of greeted with these same drinks as well. So each of you can get up to three blood reduction, or hunger reduction. Of course, you can't take yourself below
Okay.
1. You can get yourself to 1, but that's about as best as it does.
Oh, I take a
Okay,
sipper
well-
just for the sake of social convention.
That
Nice.
went well for my healing.
Oh.
I was about to say, I'm assuming you're doing a little bit of healing there. Yeah, if it, Numerous, you weren't here for this last week, so if anybody needs to heal, for every rouse check that you make, you can heal 1 superficial point of damage. If you need to heal aggravated damage, it requires 3 rouse checks, and you can only do 1 a night. So I don't know if you have any X's on your board yet, or I don't even know if you have any damage.
Slashes.
Okay.
So I guess speaking of, did you do your pick of what you're doing the XP expenditure for?
Yeah,
Like-
I'm kind of curious.
I
Still
mean,
tossing around.
I'm thinking about the Obfuscate, to be honest. Or blood, just the blood potency.
Well-
I probably got enough to do like a little of each.
When it comes to
Yeah.
this is your paying in-clan cost for these plans, right?
It would be in clan cost, yeah, because I think
Cool,
obvious
so
gate
you-
is supported for him.
Really, your only option is either blood potency or do 1 of each, which is still both options have their positives and, well, the disciplines it's all positives, but the other one is positive and negative.
Yeah, there's definitely ups and downs as far as that goes. But yeah, you're also, so along with these drinks that you've been given, by the way, keep in mind you also do have the actual club that you are more than welcome to feed from. You've only been asked to keep it discreet if necessary. But yeah, just as far as that goes, Numar, if you do want to do any healing, it's just pretty much a rouse check for every superficial you want to get rid of. And you can heal as many superficial as you want. There's no like limitations on that. That's as far as your health goes, of course. Your willpower is a little different. You get that back per rest, essentially. But yeah, you're welcome to, do a balancing act between rouse checks and healing superficial if you want to. It becomes a
There
fun
goes
little
my
roll.
hunger.
Yep. Yeah, so your hunger goes up by
I'll take that
1,
now.
but with 2 rouse checks, you can remove 2 of those slashes. Because pass or fail, you still heal the damage, you just might get hungrier.
Okay.
Yeah, so you still heal 2, but may get a little hunger, but you were also given like a drink, you know what I mean, more or less. Oh, that's kind of a weird one, because yeah, if you're gonna actually heal and rouse, I think again it would bring you back to 1, but like you could stay at 1 and still
Right.
have 2 or 3. You would still have 2 more that you could roll as freebies, more or less, because you got that in the glass. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you want to do 2 more,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
welcome to
thank
take
you.
it, but you're still going to end up at 1 because you can drink that much from what you gave you. So really, you could just heal 2 more
Yeah, I
superficial.
only got the 1 more superficial left. So
Gotcha.
We'll do that.
Yeah,
mean, just
gives
'cause
everybody
I
a
have
chance
the
to heal up a little bit.
opportunity- Since I have the blood here, I kind of want to do something I wasn't able to ever do in my mortal life, of where take out a knife and then do that like 5-finger game thing a couple times and shit.
On the bar.
If there's an appropriate place for it, if there's like some worn down wood place that I can reasonably do it in,
I was just
but
about to say. I
I'm
mean,
not
as far
going
as
to wreck her shit.
yeah, I was about to say, as far as this club goes, like the bar itself is a rather nice bar. Like even though
Okay.
it's a nightclub, she has done her best to make it very classy. You know what I mean? So
Damn it.
like,
Not the
yeah,
place.
it might be a little difficult, but like, don't get me wrong. If you were also in like a private booth, it's just a coffee table. Those are replaceable. So that's up to you.
Nah,
But yeah,
it
yeah,
was a little bit more rugged.
you guys definitely have the night to yourselves now, though. So you haven't had a response from the lawyer yet, which is almost a little frustrating. It's been a couple of nights. You'd hope to have heard back, and you haven't. So that may be actually, a little bit more irritating. Um, but you've also got a couple of other things that you guys talked about, or things that you could potentially get involved with, or people you could talk to, whatever. So that's up to you guys what you want to do. Excuse
I think was it if depending on what others do, if you're staying in the club, man, we're just trying to just go around, actually enjoy yourself for one of the first nights since it's been, she's been stacking there for 6 months.
right. There's, like I said,
nice.
it's very easy for you actually, Marina, being young and pretty. You know what I mean? There is a lot of bankers, investment bankers, and more bankers, and then an occasional like stock market bro that are more than happy to buy you a drink. You know what I mean? Everybody's trying to dance with you. There's a lot of these guys. They're definitely older than you in a lot of cases, or you're telling you can tell that there's definitely a lot of male attention that you're getting, as far as that goes. And it might be a surprise from you coming from a smaller town. I don't know. It's up to you. But
Yeah, she was there for a little while before everything happened, so.
right, yeah. I was about to say you're definitely getting a lot more attention, and there's almost kind of a aggressiveness that is a little bit more than it used to be. Whether they just sense a predator in the room or not, they come at you a little bit more aggressively, I think. You know what I mean? Almost unnaturally knowing that they're doing it, or subconsciously knowing, not even knowing they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Huh? What is everyone else doing?
I would look to my two other companions and ask, just, is there anything that y'all want to be getting done tonight as a group?
Um,
No? It's fine.
I mean, I got an idea. I was actually gonna wander around for a bit, just to like check the neighborhood, see if everything's all right. I mean, we're supposed to be keeping an eye on this territory of ours, you know, so it'd be good to do like a little like you know walk around, see if everything's okay.
When you say that, I'm kind of curious. Do you mean your own personal domain, the couple of blocks that you actually possess, or more like around here? Because Marina's kind of in a weird spot where like Marina's not actually in the part of domain that you were given. She's just right across from the nightclub. You know what I mean? By pure circumstance, or maybe intentionally. But yeah, so like you got a couple of blocks around here, and then you got your own, blocks to deal with. So I was kind of curious, which one do you mean?
I think they would just walk around their domain and just check on everybody around there, like just to be keep it casual,
Yeah,
whistling and try to keep a friendly face and all.
cool. I was about to say, let me go
I
and
would
switch
say to
maps
look
here.
out for the one cop slash like person that was observing that the pit bull
Pretty much so.
house and stuff. And I saw it once, like
So,
kind of near our domain.
just as a real quick
Gotcha.
reminder, so this area here is your personal domain. Actually, very specifically, um, this circle down here is like where your
Oh,
blocks are. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I think.
But I thought we had like the entire black
Yeah,
square.
I think you have the entire
Yeah.
black square, but like the cemetery and stuff like that is right down here on the corner. What was the reason
Cool.
I think we put the circle on there?
Yeah.
As far as that goes, Izzy's domain, or well, Izzy covers all of West LA, but her nightclub and Marina's house is right about here, and then over here is where Damien's place was. So, it's kind of a bit of a cover. Here, let me move this up so the chat can see a little bit better. Let me move to our map screen. There we go. So everybody gets a real good view. So yeah, you got some places there.
Or for labeling's sake, Could you put them down as like an I and a D?
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to mark it so you saw something there.
Ooh.
It's trying to use a color that stands out pretty well. So let's do what is the C for coterie? There we go. We'll do it this way. Oh. I can't remember how I spelled it originally. Yeah, so C for your own coterie. Izzy is kind of in this ballpark here. And then Damien is right over along the edge over here.
Lovely.
Actually, yeah, right there. Izzy up to right there. Yep, that's kind of the general idea as to what you guys have. These are at least the areas that you've explored the most, anyway. Also, just because we're going ahead and tagging a few things on the map, let's go ahead and do it, just to give everybody one.
Oh yeah.
Why don't we just use a house icon for our domain, so that way we know
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
our home? Or...
I definitely think it's, yeah, we could start doing like a key for our map and adding to it. I think that'd be really good. I'll look for some images. So this MM here, Midnight Marauders.
Okay.
That was where you had met with them. That was the Nosferatu biker gang.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. It's good to start to get stuff down on here so we can kind of visualize.
Yeah, I'll work on getting some icons set up for us as far as that goes. I think that's a good idea. And then let's just do one more. Ooh. Right there, I believe, was the general idea.
Yeah,
Kind of
well,
split
Uku's-
between domains. Yeah, it was kind of right on the gray area between the two domains for Ruku's plays. So yeah, it gives you a little insight as to where everybody currently is. But yeah, you guys have this neighborhood, of course, which the only thing you would know, I think, about this neighborhood is that was the location where the Starbucks was located. And then as far as your domain, specifically, last time, Bart, you took a stroll around, you saw a cop that seemed to be familiar to you. So yeah, you guys got full reign as to where you want to go on that one. Or you can just enjoy the nightlife, whichever.
I got plans. Do we want to cover snow cones stroll first, or Newmar,
Yeah,
you got
absolutely.
anything in particular?
I kind of wanted to hang out at the party a little bit and see if I can buy on the interrogation they're doing.
Oh yeah, on the individual downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you make it known that you're doing that, or do you kind of sneak by to do that? Because it was downstairs in the basement. You heard them take him off, and then like literally just like 2 rooms down from where you were, and you heard another door open and close. So you know that they only moved him into another room in the basement. But you know, there wasn't an invitation given to join, but there wasn't an exclusion given to stay away either.
Oh, yeah, you mean to like if I'm just walking in?
Right, yeah. So I mean, it's either one. You know what I mean? You don't know that it was never discussed whether you were supposed to be part of that, or allowed to be, or excluded from that, or welcomed, or encouraged.
Just
You know,
walk in. Yeah.
there was no discussion, so you have no idea. So I'm just kind of curious, like you just walking down and be like, "Yo, what's up?" Or are you trying to do it surreptitiously, or?
I think like I'm not going full stealth. Like I'm not gonna use my shadow cloak or anything like that. I do kind of like want to tail behind him, almost a little awkwardly until they either like say something, and just kind of get close enough to the doorway to be in earshot,
Yeah, absolutely.
and just
Yeah, so if you want to, go ahead and give me a stealth roll. This way you can kind of be, you know, like you're not going super stealth, but just like a general trying to make your way casually past the door without, you know, not give it away that
Right.
you're doing so. I think either stealth or
Yeah, like a
subterfuge
hide
there
in
even.
plain sight sort of. So maybe
It'd definitely be like a dex and
I'm almost thinking
dex
like
and stealth or wits and subterfuge maybe. Charisma subterfuge.
I mean, like I'm also just trying to be like a normal person. I'm almost wondering if there's like some sort of charisma or social in there.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
that it
There's that.
really helps me.
Yeah, let's take a look at your sheet. I always try to make. I like. I
I
don't
could
mind
do
it. What
manipulate if
long
it's
as it makes
manipulative, but it
sense.
might be
Yeah,
more charisma.
yeah. So I mean, honestly, I think charisma and then like subterfuge would be a good roll for you. This way, you're still getting a couple of dice there. As far as that goes, but you're kind of a little more disadvantaged because you're going more charismatic than manipulation. So it's a little less dice, but still 5 dice roll for you.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, like charisma and then subterfuge to kind of disguise it a little bit.
Just be a cool guy. Not that
Alright,
cool of a guy,
two
but cool enough.
successes.
Just looking for the bathrooms. I'm cool like that.
Just realized my camera was offset. There we go.
Uh,
There we go. So with 2 successes, yeah, you don't see anyone that notices you. There doesn't seem to be anybody else like wandering around downstairs. You know that's kind of bar territory, but you've been given rights to feed down there if necessary, things like that. You know what I mean? A little leniency to be in that area anyway, so it's not too hard. And then from the outside, of that door, you actually would hear that there is kind of you would notice a couple of things. So you would hear a voice on the other side of the door talking, and then kind of a milder voice underneath, a little gravelly, replying on occasion. There's not very many words being said. You'll hear, one side say something, a good minute or so wait, and then somebody else says something. Like there's not a ton of conversation going on. But a couple things that you probably would notice down here. One thing that you would smell right off the bat, as far as that goes, would be a smell of blood. So, like that kindred blood smell that you kind of still have coursing through you in its own way, can easily be smelled. You know they were staked, so it may be from them, maybe, further injuries or whatever. I think you would also smell smoke. Not a lot, very small amount, but almost as if there was little fire being used to some degree in that room. A candle, maybe like a torch. So you can smell a little bit of that hot smell in the air.
I think at this point I'm gonna try to get close enough to figure out what's going on there.
Nice. This is
Uh,
definitely wits and
in
awareness.
this case,
It's your general persuasion roll if you want to do wits and awareness on this one. And since you kind of snuck down and took your time, you can get pretty close to the door as far as that goes. That's a solid roll for you. Three successes. You hear from the inside. Now that you actually get a little closer, put your ear to the door, you can just hear one man who keeps repeating the same thing. Who told you about the book? Couple of minutes go by. Who told you about the book? In between that, you'll occasionally hear a little bit of a dry, like a almost raspy voice replying, "Go fuck yourself." Immediately followed by the sound of sizzling flesh. You know what I mean? And then a wince. Ah, fuck you. Who told you about the book? It seems to still be kind of in progress. You know what I mean? It's in based off of the kind of response and consistency, might take a while. They're not rushing it.
I think I'm gonna go inside and say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. As you open the door
Um,
kind of slowly, I gather. Good, please.
Oh no.
uh, hey guys, it's it's us from before. We were just talking to this guy. Uh, how's how's it going?
So, both of the individuals, these are two of the individuals that were standing alongside the wall. As you make your way in, like kind of peek your head inside the door, you do see that they have essentially this, the female kindred, that had shot at you the night before. Has been strapped to a chair. Very, very classic, interrogation style. She's been tied to a chair. Uh, there's two individuals just kind of standing in front of her on either side, looming over. One of them is currently holding a blowtorch in his hand, just like a small little acetylene torch that you would use to maybe light things. It's not very big, but you do see a couple of fresh burn marks that are slowly dotting their way up her arm, starting from like one hand and making their way up. Um, it's not much, but they've just been slowly, warming the skin enough to bring a little, especially to a kindred that doesn't like fire to begin with. You see a wild panic in this person's eye, that's tied to the chair. They're not doing well, and based off the way they look, it's a lot for them to not crack already. But as the two individuals turn around and look at you, almost kind of finishing each other's sentences, they would both kind of reply with, "You don't have to worry about this, sir. We've got it taken care of. If there's anything that you need, uh, feel free." And they kind of leave the floor to you, almost like, if you want to take a crack at it, we're not going to stop you, but you don't have to. We can do it if you want us to, sir. You know?
Yeah, we've been talking about like we've been our whole coterie's been discussing it with Izzy and all. It seems like they're obviously like they're just working under orders of somebody else. Like they're not the ones who really probably knew anything about the book, to be honest. So I think we'd like our coterie to take over the interrogation. Um, do you think you can maybe help bring this person to our place where we can kind of finish the interrogation?
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Um,
I think
Also,
it's
at one point when you were like, these guys probably aren't the masterminds behind it kind of assumption, you definitely heard a "fuck you" come from the chair. You know what I mean? Like, why are we the masterminds, eh? But I definitely am going to. So let's see. So you already did a couple of rolls. I hate to make you roll for everything, but this is going to be a really, really hard sell. And it's in a way not super, not like impossible, but
Yeah, it still
we'll,
goes
we'll
along with your like special
yeah. Let's see. What is your specialty?
I was hoping maybe manipulation or persuasion.
manipulation subterfuge is what I'd figure.
Yeah, Yeah, I definitely, yeah, I think manipulation and subterfuge is probably the best role you're going to be able to get on that. Um, of course, you can
Yeah.
try to add in any sort of dominate that you want to add on top of that, but of course, you're not sure. At least at this point,
Right.
you're not sure if these are kindred or mortals or anything in between.
I think I'm just gonna go for the roll. Is there a difficulty on that?
Um, yeah, I think this would be
Or are you going
probably
to just play it by ear?
I'm gonna say that that's probably gonna be a difficulty of like 5. It's not real easy
Okay.
because they've been given their orders. You know what I mean? So to try and convince them to do something else in Izzy's
I'll use
absence.
1 willpower on it.
Yeah, if you want to use a willpower, by all means, feel free.
Get that crit.
Right, that'd be the time for it.
Hit it and crit it.
Hit it and grit it.
Oh,
Ouch.
So, on second thought,
Yes, something. He just didn't hit what he was aiming for.
Sir, we've been given our orders. Anything of that type of change of command we would have to hear it from the boss herself. I don't mean to question you, sir, but simply doing as we were told.
right on. You guys do your
We've
job.
got this under
I know
control,
you,
sir.
You guys
So
take it serious. You got it. But
I,
can I ask a few questions then? Like, can I have the room for a little while?
Let's see. What did you actually roll on the thing? Get 2.
2.
2 in total.
I think they would look at each other and then like nod in agreement, and then they walk or they walk towards the door, allowing you to kind of trade places in the smaller room to where you step a little closer. They go to the door and then they just stand at the door like at attention. You know what I mean? They don't leave the room, but they definitely like they give you some space, but they don't walk out.
can I ask one question
Yeah,
real
yeah.
quick?
By all means.
What would be the last thing she would remembered before, like after, like, would she remember the entire fight as being torpored?
I mean, so like she went down fairly like midway through the combat, right? But
Yeah.
the problem is like anytime that it wasn't daytime, like I'm not even 100% sure about the situation with torpor versus daytime and like forced sleep as far as that goes. I kind of would assume it would be harder for her to concentrate during the day, even if she is, in a torpid state, regardless, just because the body tries to shut down during sunlight hours.
I meant
But she
during the
should
fight.
remember everything, even after being torpid. You know what I
They
mean?
don't get the best
They've been
perception because it's like they may be face down, but it's
right. Yeah, any
the
direction she was
The
facing,
people
she
have
saw anything within earshot, she heard. But yeah, it would be 50-50. Just depends on what you're trying to gather
I
there.
was just curious if she would have saw our friend Numar eating her other friend.
That's a
Or
great
remember the fact
question.
that
As he is now standing in front of her.
Curious about that.
or remember the fact that Snowcone staked her. So
I mean,
It was Snoken that staked her. So like, here's what I'm gonna say as far as that goes. Hey, numerous. Remember how earlier you said we are gonna flip a die? Roll me a D100 below a 50, or what? You pick high or low, and roll a
because
D100.
I was half expecting what you would call it, him to walk in there and you start going, no, not you.
Yeah.
I'll go 1D100. I'll go high.
Okay. High. They didn't see it.
Oh,
uh,
right in the
Dead-
middle.
I'll take a 50 as a success, but there is an awkwardness where you aren't sure that they know or not. They don't seem to have an immediate they don't have an immediate reaction to it, but you don't remember at all because you were ravenous at that point. So like they may or may not be aware. You have no clue if they saw that or not. You were completely distracted.
All right. So I'll look at the guards and just like look at them like, can you just like cover your ears a bit?
Both of them look a little frustrated, but do kind of turn around and see soft earmuffs. You know what I mean? Come up where they kind of come up and cover their ears. They're good at doing what they've been told, but probably aren't thrilled about it.
It's effective. I'll turn to the other person and be like, hey, you remember me, don't you? I think I remember seeing you for a little moment back there.
Remember nearly shooting you. You come to let me go?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah. No. I asked them. They said no. um, who
It's nice of
who
you.
was that person? Um, who were your friends with you?
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Let's see.
Is that the best that you have? You can
I
go
mean,
back
like
to letting
you
the
and your
kids torture
friends,
me.
like your friends are like pretty tight, right? Like you're a close group.
When you mention her friends, she doesn't respond.
I mean, you
But
guys
you
all get
definitely see
along
her,
and stuff.
like, fists tighten. She seems definitely furious. You know what I mean? And then she, instead of, the shit talking, she actually goes silent. She seems like a mix between hurt and angry.
Yeah, like you like the people you're with. You wouldn't bail on them, right? And like leave a note and a phone.
Fuck are you talking about?
Oh.
Oh no.
I love this.
Like like if someone like if your friend just left you, you would wonder why they left, right? You would expect there to be some reason, some context.
That's
Like
funny.
probably would merit face to face.
Okay. You've got some pissing match with your coterie. Just, if you're gonna kill me, kill me. You killed my friends. I've known those people for decades. I don't know
Yeah,
you
I know.
shit. I would have died
But
for
why do
them,
I know?
and they'd have died for me.
You know? Yeah. See, for some
What?
reason, you and I get that, but I don't get why.
Yeah, that's
I want to make a. Can I make a roll to see if I saw him go down the stairs earlier on?
sure.
Yeah,
Give me.
I probably would have just like sidestepped off the group, so there's a good chance he would have noticed.
Give me wits and
All right,
awareness.
where is it? Awareness.
If you guys asked, I probably would have just said like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go this way," and
Two
just not say
successes.
why.
That's enough. You definitely
Yeah.
notice that they're missing. It saw them go into the back room. That
All
kind
right.
of back door that you went to. So either they went out the hall or they went downstairs. One of the two.
She probably would have. She at this point she probably want to go. Check in, but it's still gonna be a minute.
Fair enough. You know what? the best part about having true friends are. Even though they're
Yeah,
dead,
friends
I
don't
still
make it
carry
read a
them with
single
me.
book.
I remember their names. I remember their lives. I remember everything we did together. I'm gonna kill you for hurting them. That's
I,
what that's what I remember.
I mean, like I get it. There's like you know, there's for some reason our groups of friends have been torn apart by this book thing. I don't even I haven't even read the book, to be honest. I can't imagine it being that great. Um, but for whatever, oh man, I lost my train of thought.
Just your little tap tap tap.
Yeah. You
Oh
kind of
yeah,
hear
that's one of them now.
like the door peeks open. You see that there are two guards standing on either side of the door doing earmuffs with their face against the wall. This woman is like leaned forward as far as she can while tied to a chair with clutched fists, like desperately wanting to hit this guy. And he's just having a casual conversation, you know.
So,
So
was it on my way down? Was it? Could I use my heightened sentence to try to listen in on the way, like the walk down to what they were talking about? Because I sort of
yeah, you've got heightened senses. I
yeah.
think if you'd have kicked that in, you'd have caught maybe like the last sentence or two there.
Um, hi.
You can easily cut hearing through these doors, just basement doors. They're nothing special.
Um. So, how's it going down here? Is everything okay? Sort of looking at, I was looking at Newmar like, are you okay?
That's funny.
I'm still talking to the other person. I'm like, yeah, that's one of my friends now. Like we're a coterie and we stick together, even though like we're not as big a coterie. I guess your coterie's not as big anymore.
Okay, okay,
Hey,
okay,
Marina.
Uh, I just look at her. I'm like, I just look at her like, and like a look of like, even though you're being tortured and it's because of us, I am so sorry for this.
I am
like-
so sorry for this.
I
Let's see. So they're gonna make a strength and athletics roll, but they're pretty well tied down. So they've got but dice, and they need at least 5 successes to break out of the chair. They've been well restrained, but they're gonna try. See if I get like a special crit or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh fuck! That's 5 successes. Okay. As you kind of say that, and you know, like, I know yours isn't quite as big anymore. That's at the point when you actually hear like a little creak of metal, and at that exact moment, the snap of one of the arms on the chair comes undone, and within a second, this person bursts out of the chair like the fucking Incredible Hulk. And comes running right at Numerous with a piece of the chair still in their hand, like to swing.
Can I use Blink to try this tackle or like go up and straight just tackle?
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. So your blink ability allows you essentially, I believe it just allows you to move first essentially in combat, right? What's the well
Oh,
like
no, that'd
so
be,
it allows you to
that'd be
move
my
at superhuman speed, but
that'd be my I think was it my rapid reflex?
Rapid reflex.
yeah. Try to
But was it the blink allows me to basically go directly up to her and then also do a something as well. Like I think it's like that and also a free
Let's see.
where is
The
it?
vampire closes in on a foe, engaging or escaping in the blink of an eye. To an unprepared observer, the user appears almost to teleport there so fast. So let's see.
If you traveling any distance under 50 meters while still having enough time to perform an action such as an attack during the turn.
Yep, that's perfect for this. Yeah, so yeah, not only do you get to act before they even recognize that you're there, so like they can't even block at this point. Now they were trying to make an attack at numerous, so they have kind of expended some of their energy, but not enough to change dice rolls. But yeah, essentially, if you want to make an attack against them, was that the idea?
Yeah, just like a straight, just like full trying
Just
to go tackle. You know, she's not
throwing
that.
it out there. There is a small table there, and you do still see the wooden stake that is lying there. You see that there is a blowtorch that has been sat down and is not on anymore, but is still currently cooling. And then there are several sets of pliers and different assorted tools that are laid out on a small table.
Would I have enough time to grab one of grab one of the parts of it and stab her with it, or would that be
Yeah,
in the
so
same
like,
bit?
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
essentially, if you want to grab the tools, the blowtorch, or even the stake that has been removed and
Yeah.
laid, kind of on a medical tray. Like, there's all these crazy tools that have been brought down, but there's like a nice rollout case, and then a couple like of those almost like medical trays. But upon closer inspection, they're actually like bar ice trays. You know what I mean? That just work well as both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still nice stainless, equipment. But yeah, you can grab any of those devices along the way if you want to, because I mean, you're gonna essentially grab it and move it.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to grab the steak and see if I can do that.
Okay,
Use that.
so this is gonna be. I'm gonna give you the option on this because you're using speed and just being incredibly rapid. I know your dex is a little bit better.
Yeah.
I would say so
dex.
either strength or dex, whichever you prefer, and this is gonna be a melee. So
Dex.
the big thing is they're kind of half restrained, unprepared. I'll give them a 2 dice or a 2 penalty. Typically you have to have, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the margin has to be 5 for you to stake a vampire. But in this
yeah.
case, I'll just say the margin has to be 3, and they can't defend themselves. So you just have to roll at least a 3 or higher to restake them. They're not in great shape anyway. You know what I mean? So yeah, you just need to roll a 3. You got 2.
I could.
Do you want
I
to
will.
burn the
I'll
willpower?
try.
You can
I'll
only
try.
reroll
Just doing the
1,
one.
but
Hey.
so you nearly you nearly think that you missed the heart, and so numerous within the blink of an eye, you hear the chair burst. You see them kind of reach back with the handcuffed arm still attached to it, and they've kind of like wrapped their hand around it and brought it up as like a pipe to try and swing. And by the time that they get it brought back, there's a snap in the air, and you feel like a gust of wind past you, and looking down, directly next to the silver dollar size hole in their chest, there is now a new silver dollar sized hole in the chest, as a new hole. They didn't use the willpower required, it's a little off,
Yeah.
but yeah, right next to the original, but definitely still hit the heart. And they are again frozen in place and just kind of like almost teeter like a mannequin would for a moment. This is just instantaneously, and you see Marina standing between the two of you, who just plunged the stake.
Okay.
Holy shit! What'd you just do? That you just stabbed my best friend. No way.
What are you?
No, you didn't.
Wait.
Let's get you out of here before she tries to kill. Before.
Sir, we really should. Ma'am.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah,
like-
you guys. Yeah. I understand.
Oh,
She
fuck.
just sort of like.
I'm sure you guys didn't hear any of that, but I think we're about done.
Of course not, sir. And you see him kind of like tossing glances at each other, like, we definitely overheard that. No, we're not talking about it. This guy could eat us.
This looks at him like she just looks at him like, I'm so sorry about all of this.
Exactly, yeah. I think like the biggest thing that you would notice at this point too is I definitely like, now that you're seeing these two kind of the two guards are a little scared. They are breathing heavy. obviously not undead, so you know what I mean. So like they're just trying to reclaim the control of the situation, and then you see at that point as more or less the first guy just like shoves the body over, and then you see them like pick it up and readjust it as they start picking up pieces of the chair on you as you're making your way out the door.
You
You know
might
what I
want
mean?
some
There's
stronger
no
restraints.
problem. We've got it from here.
Okay.
Thank
might
you.
want some.
No,
you might want some
thank you. I
stronger
got it.
restraints. Okay.
Thanks. Super appreciate it. You know. Yeah. Yeah, we're a little bit after, but I know we started a little bit late. Is there anything else that you guys want to touch base on? So like Snowcone actually made his way through while that was happening. Snowcone had kind of taken a ride. So like you could have easily walked back across the street, grabbed your van that was parked there, and made your way the couple of miles back to your domain.
I'll let you ride.
Taking
I was in the back, wasn't it? Because we brought it there.
Yeah, it was at the club, I believe. So like yeah, making your way back towards your typical domain. Go ahead and give me a wits and awareness roll. And Bart,
got
while
it.
he's doing that, what did you decide to get into? Anything good?
Mine's still if I could be dropped off at my haven, then like
He's
I
definitely
have
going
stuff
that
and
way.
things. And is the wits and awareness happening like on the ride too?
Yeah. Pretty
Or
much anytime you're in a
or
car,
for-
I'm okay with wits and awareness. You know what I mean? Just for like, what do you see along the way? You know?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
like
I think it's a
yeah.
good riding in a car roll.
Mm.
I got to give
I think
McStabber
I'm
Studios credit for that one, man, because they mention that all the time. Every time they get in a car, it's like the default roll, and it's such a smart idea. You know,
Agree.
the shit that you can see while just driving through town.
So I got a. Oh,
Yep, got a 1,
Yeah.
but you can willpower if you like.
yeah, I got one more in me, so let me do a willpower reroll. Size modifier to no.
No, you could have rolled 2, but that works.
Ooh, nice. So yeah, that does bring you up to a 2 with a partial on the almost a critical. So 2 for you, 3 for Bart. Making your way back through. A couple things you notice is that it does seem rather quiet in your neighborhood. Not a ton going on. You don't have much of an area to kind of survey. As far as that goes, making your way by, you see that the usual places are open. The Moonlit Yoga Studio seems to be doing another kind of late night yoga exercises. There's a handful of what appears to be, 30 to 45-year-old people trying to get in their yoga, probably post work after their job. Maybe even a couple of them like in scrubs while doing it, as they might work at the nearby hospital. You see that Hemlock's Pawn Shop does have its sign set to closed, but an inordinate amount of light still inside, even though they are closed, as if someone was awake in there. And then the bar alley that you guys are kind of close to as well, kind of locally known as Nocturne Alley, where the couple of bars, Brace's Dive Bar is. There's a larger than usual crowd, even with a couple of people standing outside of the, I think it's called Salty's Tavern was the name of it, the nautical themed bar. And you definitely see that there's a sign that says Fish Taco Tuesdays and $2 drafts. So you can kind of guess that they probably have a bit going on. So there's a couple of people, like I said, milling outside the bar, smoking, things like that. They look like they've had a couple to drink. And mixed in amongst a bunch of them, I think it would be Bart. You would probably be the one to more keenly catch it. You would see that there is at least one individual that's clothes seem to be a bit more dated than the rest. And he seems to be kind of hanging out, leaned against a wall, casually chatting with a drunk individual. You can assume that, this, much like you guys have been known to do, it's a pretty good place to grab a snack this guy is probably one of yours. You know what I mean? But you don't recognize him at very least. So he may be new or just visiting through the domain. But yeah, other than that, just seems like a pretty quiet night. Nothing else that stands out. You don't see the cop car that you would expect to. You know what? Actually, I think you would. Now that I think about it, you probably would. So you pass that going past Nocturne Alley. The first time, this time you see it a couple of blocks down, but still in roughly the same area. Almost splitting the difference between where that bar is and where the graveyard is. You would see the car is sitting there. Bart, you've already seen it, so it'd probably stand out more to you. And you do see that the individual that you'd seen in it previously is still sitting in it. So yeah, you would catch sight of him, that he's, at least hanging out, potentially watching that alley, maybe watching elsewhere.
I'll make a
Hard to
note
catch
of
at a
that.
glance.
Also, just a snow cone of probably we should talk to the Baron about that some point in the coming days.
Right.
But still, letting me off at my garage.
Yeah.
Thank you, and wish you luck in the rest of your night.
I wish
And
you
my big
peaceful.
priority is to gather up my various occult books outside of the Book of Nod and bring that over to Hemlock's pawn shop.
There's kind of an awkward moment there where you're like snow cone, you pull up and drop them off. There's that, awkward, like, well, what are you doing? Get into? Yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna go, kind of moment where it's like, you have your discussion and say your goodbyes or whatever. But yeah, you got the night to yourself if you want it, however you want to spend it. But it seems that Bart, as he's getting out, almost not openly, but pretty directly, is like, I got something I want to do, so I'm gonna try and go get that done. Like, whatever you're doing, it's cool, kind of seems like. But yeah,
I'll be in the area if you come back to the garage in an hour or two. I will be in fact here, but still.
right. Yeah, I think it's just kind of obvious that as you're like, I'm gonna go do something. It kind of stood out a little bit. It's like he seemed like he had something that he wanted to go do, and quickly makes his leave. But yeah, it leaves you the option to roam or hang out or do anything that you want to there, Snowcone.
I think Snowcone would just do what they did before, do what they set out to do, and just patrol
Circle the
their
block.
territory. But I think they're gonna do it on foot because they're looking for anything unusual, like things that are like there's obviously weird stuff that goes on in the night with
Mm-hmm.
people, but they're looking for the weird among the weirdness, if that
Oh yeah.
makes sense. Like anybody
So
hearing ethereal music, or somebody trying starting a campfire in the middle of a street, and it's just like, oh, I should check that out.
right, yeah. So as far as campfires in the middle of the street, maybe not quite so much, but you do see that there are a couple of barrel fires under an alleyway. Or sorry, under an overpass, which you've come to kind of almost suspect as something that you've seen before with the homeless population or displaced population in Los Angeles. There's a fair amount of people that live under freeways and things, and make, especially in your kind of area, there's a larger number, as it's not the nicest side of town, etc. Bear me here for just a second, because there is something I wanted to point out, if I can. To almost make mention of it, is you don't hear music, but as you're passing past the, you almost think maybe there is a moment where you do hear music, but then following it closer, it leads you back around to where the dive bars are. So Bryce's Dive Bar and Salty's Tavern, I believe is the name of it, like I said, do have kind of a higher than normal population. As you hear a bit of like music, you also hear a strange couple of sounds. And making your way closer on foot, you come around a back alleyway as you're approaching it, and you do find that the individual that you guys both spotted on your way through currently has a man behind the dumpster feeding on him. So you would come around just enough time to see that there's a mildly outdated person. Their clothes look a little more 90s than 2000s, especially 2020 something, their pants are a little baggier. They're wearing like a Pantera t-shirt, you know what I mean? A little bit more of the 90s metalhead type style. Definitely doesn't fit in super well at the kind of nautically themed lounge. But they're grabbing a snack. They're definitely feeding from one of the drunks from the tavern. And as you get close, you would catch that scene. Depending on if you stop there or not, or just stay in the area to make sure that nothing else happens beyond that point, or that they don't kill him, etc. You do overhear some rumors from people at the bar. So a couple of the ones are ones that you've already we already know, but maybe your character hasn't heard, is you definitely hear somebody say something to the effect of like, no, seriously, dude, he's a fucking superhero like Batman, but like half the size. He's been kicking ass all over town. Like, dude, the cops don't know what to do. They don't do shit, but he's apparently been cleaning up like half of downtown. And you just kind of overhear a portion of it. And then you would also hear someone make mention of like, dude, I don't know. All I know is I got so hammered last night. I woke up in my apartment. I have no clue how I got there. The only thing I know is that I was barefoot and I had blood clear up to my knees. I got scratches up and down my arm. Where the fuck did I find weeds in the city? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, as they're having a discussion, he's like, I don't know, man. All I know is you got to lay off those fucking E&Js. You know what I mean? And then they kind of go back and forth. So you would kind of overhear those two rumors. And in case anyone in the chat wants to know what I'm talking about, head over to our Ko-Fi shop. You'll see the rumors there. But yeah, you'd overhear a couple of things that do seem a little suspicious as far as that goes.
I think I would just like I would imagine Snowcone taking that information and be like, oh, that's kind of weird. But since they're naturally curious of like, well, anything can happen, so these rumors could be true, they're gonna be like, one more time around the neighborhood, just in case. Because you never know. Maybe you'll spot a freaking unicorn grazing in the dumpster.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, as you kind of make your way, circle back around, you take a long walk around the block. The graveyard seems to be empty and quiet. You might see the grave digger kind of taking care of a couple of last minute duties, more or less, before it gets too late. He started with the early portion of his night and is now cleaning up and resolving any graves that he had to dig during the night, so not to disturb during the day. You would see that you would probably take notice at this point of the police car, and it does seem to awkwardly be sitting between where the graveyard is and where the bar is. And as you actually kind of get a chance to walk by and catch close attention to him, you do notice that he more or less is like observing the whole neighborhood, not just the bar area, but almost like he is looking for problems to get involved with, or maybe also keeping an eye, surveying this neighborhood for crime or a person or a suspect. It's, without further investigation, it's very hard to tell what he's looking for. But as you make your way back around to the area where the bars are, like after you make a full circle, you would see that the individual that was being fed upon is now leaned up against the corner of the building between the alley and where the dumpster back alley and the side alley where the bar actually is. He is now sat down, leaned against the wall, and kind of in a slumped position, looking unconscious. As you approach, you do see that he is still breathing, but has been left kind of overly drained. Maybe more than what was necessary, but he's going to be fine. He's going to sleep in an alleyway tonight and wake up feeling like shit tomorrow, but he'll probably be okay. Maybe they could have done a better job than what they did, but you don't see any bite marks and you don't see a dead body. So it's not the worst either, you know what I mean? But as
I
you
think I'll
kind of
leave
make
it-
your... Good.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say like seeing that they're exhausted and feeling a little bit sympathetic, they're gonna root around in like their pockets and be like, still got one. And they're gonna pull out like a kid's juice box and leave it right by them for the morning, just so they have something to get
You,
like their blood
you
sugar
break out
levels
the Ziploc pre-made baggies that contains like a chocolate chip or oatmeal chocolate or whatever it is, cookie, a little bit of sugar, and a juice box that you just got pre-made and ready to go that you give to many of the patients that you take blood from. No problem. Leave that next to him. And as you do, you definitely would hear a female voice from behind you that says, "Be careful. If you're planning on taking more from him, I don't think there'll be much left." Turning around and taking a look, you see a female dressed in gothic clothing. She kind of has a bit of like a tight, almost, it's not really a corset, but it's like probably part of like a lingerie set. That looks kind of like a corset that she's using as a crop top. A pair of almost bell-bottomed like flare shorts, or jeans, but they're modern enough, and a nice pair of like black shoes to go with it. All of this black on black. You know what I mean? Very pale skinned per individual, coal black hair, a couple of tattoos, and a piercing or two. And as she turns around, she kind of just takes a look at you and says, "Seriously, I don't know if a juice box is even going to refill that guy." And we will cut there on your scene to come back to her at some later point in time. Bart, you make your way to the pawn shop. You guys might want to take note of her. I will as well. But yeah, so Bart, you make your way to the pawn shop. You take the Book of Nod as well as the other books that you did, or just the other
I'm
books?
specifically not taking the Book of Nod. That is one
Okay.
that I want to do myself first, and also gauge how this guy react book,
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
Definitely. So you make your way to the pawn shop. You tap on the door, even though the sign says closed, and within 2 minutes, it takes a minute, it probably takes like 30-60 seconds. You do see that the older individual, "I'm coming," makes his way to the door, sees that it's you, unlocks it. "Come on in. Head back to the table." And just kind of points towards the area where he always sits, where there's a counter, a television, and a register. Locking the door behind you and keeping the shades pulled down, he does. How you doing, my guy?
Doing
Been a little
great,
while.
cousin.
How's my newest neighbor?
Well, I have good news. I'm coming bearing fruit already.
Hey, that's
So,
the type of thing I like. You got anything
intern, do
good for
you
me?
have the information I was looking for?
No,
That's
you had
still in the
asked
works.
him very much specifically for a list of individuals that are in the area, correct?
Yeah, just a briefing, more or less, of the individuals in the area. It doesn't need to be like a concrete list or
Yeah, no, I
information.
put
No
together
spreadsheet
your
shit.
little grocery list over here. Let me grab it off the shelf. And remind me to
Fuck
get.
yeah.
This is one of those things where like I'll send it to you tonight. I just got to make a list of it. I haven't written it all
Sounds
down
good.
yet.
Uh-huh.
But I know essentially who's there.
But then just something to then brief
Yep.
the party on our next meeting.
Yeah.
And in turn, I crack open a messenger bag and I bring out the 3 books that I found.
Ooh, we
One
got
on
here.
histories, one on like what seems to be like occult practices. I haven't delved too deep into these, but and then one that seems to be like of mythos.
Right.
So got the
Little, yeah.
schmattering.
Yeah, some of it more legitimate than others. And as he kind of peruses them, he's like, I think I got one of these, but it always sells good with the mortals. They don't know any better. Let's see, these two though, a little more interesting. I like this. I don't think I got this yet. He's kind of perusing over them, good condition, not too bad. He said, yeah, you looking for anything extra? He says, I mean, I feel like we already kind of made a deal for the list of names.
Yeah, this is the
a-
back and forth. I know
anything
I
anything you need while you're here? I got some supplies in the back if you're looking
um
to do the voodoo or the hoodoo. It's not
if anything
much,
I would
but
look around for like any odds and ends of mechanical parts I would need.
okay.
This
When you
guy
say,
may have a just odd
oh
muffler or
yeah,
something like that.
I
Or
definitely think he would too, because like that would be something that he would keep out in the front of the shop too. Is
uh,
you probably see like a muffler and a blinker to an older bike that definitely doesn't get made anymore. That are
uh-huh.
probably a little bit harder to find parts, and he knows that too. I mean, he's generally worked in pawn long enough to spot something that's like that's probably worth $1. So yeah, you find a couple of parts as far as that goes. He
Just
said,
to feel like it's a little more because this was a bit of a heavier drop compared to trade of for this list, so
right now,
it
did you
make me
met?
feel better. Oh,
I know at one point you guys had spoken with him about guns and things like that, and he kind of had a little bit of like, oh yeah, I got a couple things in the back. You
uh-huh.
know what I mean? Did you happen to mention like I like shotguns or I like sniper rifles or anything like that when you talked with him previously?
I think it's been brought up in conversation, but like unless it's something actual like eye catching,
Right.
I'm not in the market right now, so
Yeah, no, I think more or less just like he also realizes that it's kind of feels a little unbalanced still yet. So like aside from the parts that'll come in handy for a couple of bikes that you actually have, bits and pieces that you've been working on for a while. It's like maybe they're not done yet, but they'll pay off eventually when you get all the pieces together. And these definitely help fill in a few of those blanks. But he also, comes back out and he sits down a handful of boxes of ammunition.
nice.
As far as that goes, just to kind of sweeten the deal. And he's like, yeah, as far as it goes, I don't mind the barter and trade. You ever need something, you let me know if there's something you're looking for. We can kind of work a bit of a tab situation. I don't think you're going anywhere. Well, at least I didn't think Robert was going anywhere either. But fucking guy still owes me for a 1987 Playboy I'm pretty pissed about. These things are hard to find nowadays. Everybody doing the Googles. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I don't get it. I like paper.
So I want to check something real quick of a one that I have in stock of an old ass Playboy to
He's
see
like,
if it
hold on, I
is
got the
87.
1987. Hold up.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. But yeah, as far as that goes, he does offer the assurance that if you ever
Ooh,
need
83.
anything future, he does make sure to mention like if you can think of something that you need in the future, he's willing to provide it.
Cool.
You know what I mean? So if you do think of something at a later time,
I'm gonna write down just
um,
minor boon.
yeah, essentially, yeah. So minor boon, minor trade, from him, he's willing to do that because the books are worth more. But after him giving you a list and literally he hands it to you, it looks like a grocery list, but you know enough of like Nosferatu thieves' cant that if you read between the lines, there it's actually a list of names and approximate locations or details about them. You know what I mean? You just gotta take out a couple of consonants, add a couple of vowels, and it makes sense. You know.
Uh-huh.
But beyond that, is there anything else that you really needed from him?
Nah, I'd probably like bullshit with him for another 10 minutes and then head
Yep.
out.
I think in
Where?
that case, then, as you're making your way out, the only interesting part is that you have a casual, almost like bump in with an individual as you're making your way out the door, and they're just walking down the street. And
Uh-huh.
as you kind of like throw a like, hey, you hear him turn around like, hey, watch where the fuck you're going. And as you kind of like almost cross eyes with each other, you lock eyes face to face with that officer that you had seen before. Now, of course, I should say eyes to helmet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you definitely recognize him, and you see as he looks at you, there is a hint of recognition from the time that you had kind of passed by each other previously.
I did a wheelie in front of him. Whoa.
You definitely
Smart
did, and it just
choices.
happened to be on the night in which he had kind of seen you. Your friends, not you directly. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
maybe there's some
But like,
correlation, but he
I would
doesn't
try
say
noting
anything.
down like physical characteristics, like just full scope them
Yeah,
down for like description to other people stuff.
definitely. I think that's an easy mark as far as that goes.
Cool.
That if you ever saw him, you could definitely point out characteristics and things, but unsure as to whether or not more or less pegged you for the person he would remember or not. He doesn't make mention of it, but he does almost probably take a double take and look back at you a second time, and you think that he would remember your features too, minus the helmet. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that doesn't help much there. But I think it's already 12:30. I tried to compensate by going a couple minutes over. I think that touches base and sets you guys all in different locations, but like everybody's got a little something going on because you guys all, the two of you, Snowcone has, found a person. Bart has bumped into one. The other two
Marina
of
has
you,
sold.
walking out of the area as you hear two guys wrestling around this corpse in mannequin pose. You would definitely almost hear one of them say, like, I'm not telling the boss. Fuck, I don't even know if he's supposed to be here. You know what I
Marina
mean?
can-
Like, kind of concerned for themselves, but
yeah,
seemingly allowing you to go back to your nightclub. That's kind of a
Marina
cool
just
place
trying to
for us to leave
console.
it. Yeah, so we can pick up next week, and you guys still have a lot to go do and people to talk with and all that stuff. But we are slowly introducing more characters, man. I try to add in a couple NPCs every week, so we just keep adding to the list. But yeah, that's cool. And as far as that goes, too, by the way, guys, I'll try to make sure to get it posted this week and try to get it all updated. But I am trying to set up a World Amble page for this game so that you guys are more easily able to go look at maps. World Anvil is really great about having some good map tools and timelines, as well as just a good Wikipedia, essentially. Thank you. A good Wikipedia type page, um, so that you have a place to go to find out more about the game. Again, I am going to make a valiant effort this week to spend much more time in the Discord. I would love you guys to come in, hang out, and just bullshit. You know what I mean? If you want to talk games, talk, about our games, any of those things, feel free to pop over to the Discord, hang out with me. If you want to catch me playing video games, I'm probably going to be doing that while I'm there. You know what I mean? Instead of having to wait, or hang out for a stream or, kind of have the Twitch intermediary, just feel free to come in, hang out with me while I'm playing, and we can actually have a conversation and we can work on building this community even better. I know a lot of you guys have been around for a long time. I got some of you guys have been around since I started this, and I really look forward to actually getting to spend more time chilling and doing the one-on-one. All these guys are usually around somewhere, so you can find one of us if you need us, kind of deal. Also, keep in mind, we do have the Roleplay Discord set up. I know that I haven't got a chance to do much with it yet, but always feel free to toss little one-liners in there. Just get it started, you know what I mean? It's always got to start somewhere. Build a character, throw it together. All the information of how to join that is there. It is subscriber only as far as that portion goes. It's only $5 a month, and you guys get a lot of different cool stuff for that. There's a private subscriber only area on the Discord where you can offer suggestions to stream, extras, little things like that. So like there are some extra perks to being a subscriber even beyond the channel. So I hope you guys check that stuff out. Not to mention all the extra channel points for more TTS and sound alerts, etc. I think that's about it though. I'm just trying to cover all the bases. We are going to be trying to work on a lot of things this next month, and I really hope that you guys help go with us, man. I want to do as much as I can for this channel, bring in some more games and keep it as entertaining as we can, while also working on, you know, kind of reestablishing, like, we're a community. There's hundreds of us in the Discord. We should be hanging out more. But yeah, thank you guys for all that. Thank you for the donos that came in today. Thank you for all the bits that came in. I don't have like a list in front of me. Thank you for the follow, by the way. I saw Brandy Austin followed for the channel, and I really appreciate that one. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the stuff, man. Like, that's what keeps us going. As long as you guys watch, enjoy, and all those of you that support, keep the lights on, it's a huge help. I'm gonna run through these real quick. If you guys want to say your final thoughts and see you laters and all that, I'll start with Snow Cone while I'm getting the shout outs in here for the other two.
Thank you. Yeah, as mentioned before, my name is Jive. I am a graphic designer full time. I'm also taking some classes and some other stuff right now, but my goal is to just do some graphic design work for as many people as I can, whether that just be on a small project or a big business, whatever it is. I just want to be able to provide a service to help people make an identity for themselves online or in person. So if you're looking for a logo design, a poster design, or anything that has to do with graphic design in general, you can hit me up on Fiverr. I'll post a link to that in chat right very soon. So feel free to hit me up and commission me for some work, and I'll see you there.
Dude does good stuff. Like, you know, you get a lot of those, like, you know, Fiverr ads that you see places and things like that. I back this dude's shit. Go check it out. He does really cool stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I see some of those things and I'm just like, I wouldn't give you 3 or 4, let alone a 5. You know what I mean? Whatever the hell it would be, but like, he does really cool stuff. Go check it out. You know, as long as I always appreciate when people put in actual work into what they do. That's the big win, and that I can attest to. All right, cool. Yeah, there's the link. Bart, any final thoughts?
Nothing much. GG, y'all.
Nice. Surely you won't have any problems with the police. They love you. Sure, the guy that's always wearing concealment. Let's see. Numar. I've already got your shout out in there, so there's the link to Numerous's page, but please continue.
Yeah, I see that. That's my shout out there. But yeah, I had a good game. I'm interested to see what how Numar progresses now.
It's definitely going to be an interesting twist, man, because yeah, I personally also, by the way, fucking like, there's not really like an inspiration, but we're gonna have to find a way to give inspiration because that shit was brilliant. As far as talking to the hostage, like,
Extra dice.
oh man, yeah, that was so good. Yeah, just take a +1. That's the way to do it. Take one of those banked +1s. That'll be our advantage because that was a really good moment. That shit was just, that caught me so far off guard. Like, man, your friends wouldn't leave you and like leave their cell phone behind. I was like, oh, you're pulling at my heartstrings here, buddy. I didn't know how to react to that one, but yeah, that was brilliant. But yeah. I will say sorry, didn't mean to interrupt there, but yeah, definitely Numerous does some Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
Always helps out, man. Go give him a follow, guys.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I got. My channel, I stream Thursdays, Saturdays. If you ever need more time with me.
You know I do, boo. I love it. I can't get enough of this guy. We keep him here 3 nights a week, and you guys can have him for the other 2. But I'm bringing him back every Wednesday and Friday. That's for sure. So yeah, whenever he's not here, make sure to check him out on his own channel. Help build that as well. This way, you know, you can check out what stuff he's into gaming and streaming. All right, last and definitely not least, Jackal, which I've already got your shout out in there too. So,
Howdy. I'm the Jackal. I was at a. I'm actually. I think I'm swapping a bit more over to Twitch as more recently. I'll see what happens, but I've been streaming a bit more actually of late. And yeah, I do a lot of different streams. I like to do, sort of tabletop stuff like this if I ever get the chance. And then other times I like a lot of horror games. I'm currently going through Dead Space, and I might start up Lethal Company. And besides that, I like to do if you ever was it seen like the 5 MRP sort of stuff. I'm actually in a server that is all about Vampire the Mask, Vampire, just World of Darkness in general. That I'm actually playing in. I'm playing the stream as well. So yeah.
Nice. Right on, man. Yeah. Yeah, I will
And
say it makes it really simple. I love these shout outs too, because like literally guys, you can just hover over their name, it shows you a little heart symbol, click it, gives them a quick follow. Then you know when these guys go live, what they're doing and what they're up to. Makes it really easy for you to check out what everybody else in the channel is getting into, which is super awesome.
next week is going to be Marina trying to console Numar.
Yeah, I was gonna say we might have to do some counseling there as far as that goes. I don't know. That broke my heart. I can tell you that much.
Let's go watch a movie.
I'm
With,
sure he got it all out.
Yeah,
Let's go
yeah.
watch a movie with Tara. Come on, let's go.
Let's go get high and watch Animal Planet with Tara. I love it. Exactly. That's like the best probably option that you might have in that case. Let me take a double check here. I'm just checking to see what we got going on. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and raid out tonight. I got a suggestion for someone who's playing Blood Hunt. I know that's a little bit different, but you just watched a game. Maybe you want to check out some Blood Hunt, some other types of vampire content. So we're gonna raid out to Copy Solo, if I'm getting this right. Let me go ahead and give you guys a quick message here. So let's throw a couple of these. I'll give you a raid message. This way you guys got it at your disposal if you want to. Do we have any cool vampire emotes left? Please tell me we got some cool vamp emotes left. What do we got for our vamp game? I know we have at least one. Yeah, we got our little vamp guy there. Let's do
If
that
anybody's
one.
unsure of what a blood hunt is, it's what should have happened to us several times over the course of this game, but we have gotten away with it unscathed.
Probably true. Look, that's the nice part about being in Anarch territory, right? Is they don't value the blood hunt, or if they do, they just do it. They don't declare it a special thing. But yeah, that's probably very true. Let's see.
In some ways, we kind of declared a blood hunt just last session,
Yeah, kind
or
of.
session before that.
Good.
They were like, they heard
Damien.
us, and then we were like, we chased them down in a hunt.
Yeah. So there's
then
a
also-
fun little
Yeah.
sorry, I was just doing that. There's a nice little
Yeah.
copy and paste thing that you can paste when you do the raid.
Also, kind of with how we do with Damien, like, yeah, he'll send his men out to do it, or like, yeah, we're looking for these people. We're like, yep, we'll go kill them.
Yeah, definitely. That's for sure.
I always kind of imagine a blood hunt being like how the second part of John Wick starts, just one person, and then like everybody in the city versus this one guy that's like, I'll kill them all. I'll kill them all.
Kill them all. That's exactly it. Yeah, I tend to feel that way with most of the games I run. It always seems like the world's pitted against you, right? You never know. I think we saw with like Damien Steele. I think that could go either way. It just depends on how you choose to go with it, you know?
Hey, with Carthage being brought up, well, I mean, Terra.
Yeah. I mean, that might be the beginning of a new kind of commingling there as far as that goes. But either way, thank you guys so much. Again, if you haven't already, please make sure to follow the channel, subscribe to the channel. Those things help so much. If you got a Prime sub, if you pay for Amazon Prime, why not get all the benefits out of it? They give you a free subscription every month. That gives us the full price of a subscription. And like, electric's going to get more expensive. It's wintertime. I do heat with electric. My internet bill tends to be, $100 a month just to keep the bandwidth going so that we have a decent stream. So it would be really appreciated. But I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go, and I'll catch you guys here in a little bit. Later.
Peace.